Hello, 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 hello. Hello, 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 hello.
Silence, please. Stand up, everyone.
Hello. Good morning, everyone. This is Subhalakshmi Das.
This is Samata Das, and
We are your anchors for today.
We welcome you to the
To
8th day of
Exordium 2K22.
For the first session, we have among us Professor Haribandhu Panda. He is an alumni of NIT Rourkela. He has received his MBA from FMS Delhi and MTech and PhD from Asian Institute of Technology, Bangkok. He specializes in the field of energy technology, management technology, institution design and development.
He has over 35 years of experience in industry and academia in India and abroad in organizations like NTPC, Delhi, Southeast Asia, Technology Company Bangkok, Institute of Rural Management Anand, Gujarat, and was also the last Vice Chancellor of Centurion University, Odisha. He co-founded Liverlink Foundation, Chlorophyll Foundation and Chlorophyll School. Sir has immense interest in sustainable livelihood, security and quality of education of underprivileged section of the society.
With this, we would like to invite Sir up on the stage. We heartily welcome you, Sir. The stage is all yours.
This is working or not? Not working. Can you switch off this one? This fan. Good morning, everybody. Why some of you do not come forward? We can take 1 or 2 minutes. Those who are far behind, they can come forward.
Actually, we are sitting branch-wise.
Oh, branch-wise. Okay.
For the sake of attendance.
Okay. Right. Okay, you can be there wherever you are in. Thank you, sir, for inviting me today to talk to our young engineering graduates. You are yet to be graduate, but you have started your journey today. I am grateful that I have got an opportunity to come and talk to you at the beginning of your engineering education. And thank you for very nicely explaining about my experience and my background. I was recollecting my own experience as an engineering student 45 years ago. I think your parents would have been also younger than 45 years. So about 40, it is not about, in 1977, I joined on the first day of my engineering. So that is 45 years ago. And I was recollecting what was going on in my mind that day. And my mind at that time was thinking of lot of uncertainty because I have come to a new environment. I do not know anybody there. I came from a village. I did not have much money with me. So very little money, do not know anybody, and almost everybody was speaking in English. That was also very difficult for me. I came from an Odia medium school. Only before joining engineering, 2 years in English medium instruction. So very little knowledge about English, little exposure to the outside world. So everything was new and I was highly fearful that time. I was afraid of many events what was happening. And honestly, to talk to you, I was thinking, why did I come here? I was very comfortable in my own place. No need for it, because I did not know what the future can be. Same way today, I am sure most of you will not be knowing after 4 years what it could be for you. You might be having some general ideas. You might be reading newspaper, talking to your seniors or relations who might have gone through engineering and come across many people and would have got good exposure to within country and outside. But still, those are very anecdotal type of evidences which you would have got. What I will do today, in next half an hour or so, or 40 minutes, as long as I feel you are not tired, I will be talking to you today what mistakes I have done in my journey, what I could have done better, and so that those mistakes you will not commit. That much only I can tell you today. Rest is with you. Now to start with, let me remind you, the opportunity what you have got today, you are one of the less than 4,000 people who aspired for engineering in Odisha. Is it correct? Your rank, you are in the top 4,000 students who aspired to have an engineering career. And out of how many? Out of nearly 40,000. 40,000 children, boys and girls like you, they wanted to pursue an engineering career in Odisha. Out of that, you are in the top 4,000, that means top 10%. 90% of the students are below you in performance. So when you are in the top 10% in the student segment, is it a matter of pride or not? You are in the top 10%. Imagine 90% students are below you. All of you have seen that Three Idiot picture? So how they were seeing their rank, whether they passed or not, from where they were seeing? From the bottom. Now I am sure you will not be looking from the bottom. You are on the top. If some of you would have seen in the bottom, you would not have seen your name there. So you are in the top 10%. Now that is as far as those who are aspiring for engineering education. Now even when you selected or you thought you will be studying science, all you would have completed +2 science? Or is there anybody without +2 science who have come here? Then Trilochan sir has to find it out and have a special discussion with you. So all of you have completed +2 science. Now if you see, there are 80,000 students approximately, they pursued +2 science. So out of 80,000, you are 4,000. So what percentage it becomes? 5%. So those students after 10th class who studied +2 science, and most of them would have thought of might be to become an engineer, some would have become a doctor or something like that one, but few of these things would have been in their mind. So you are in the top 5% of the students who studied +2 science. Is it still matter of pride or not? So 95% students in Odisha are below you. Now what it means? If you are having in the top 5%, there is a saying in China. It is, when the strong wind blows, just like in a cyclone, what happens? The tree which is very tall will bend more. The grass which is small in height, it will bend less. Is it correct or not? So now you have to bend more. because you are in the top 5%. Now what it means, what is the meaning of bending more? The meaning is, you have a much bigger responsibility on you. Do you understand the meaning of the word responsibility? What do you mean by responsibility? Can anybody explain me what is the meaning of responsibility? I have been a professor for a long time, that's why I have to talk to you. So what is the meaning of responsibility? Anyone? Sit down. What do you mean by responsibility? When I say you have big responsibility on you, that means lot of people will expect a lot from you. If I am very weak, nobody will give me a load of 50 kg. They will give me 5 kg load. Yes. Oh, it has to be there?
The half is there.
Oh, okay. Thank you. See what I am saying, if I am very strong, somebody will give me heavy load to carry. Just like when I came on the ground floor, Trilochan sir was there, I saw some of you are standing in front of the lift. Sir felt, I should get the priority because I am weakest among you. So he said, give him opportunity to go in the lift, and all the young friends who were there, he asked to go by staircase. So it means those who are weaker than you in some way, you have to give them more opportunity. That is responsibility. Now, coming to you, what the responsibility means, your parents have a lot of expectation from you. Is it correct or not? Can anybody, or how many of you think your parents have no expectation from you? Please raise your hand. Your relations have no expectation from you. Your friends have no expectation from you. Is there anybody like that? Nobody is there. So people have expectation from you. And that means, will you fulfill that expectation or not? I'm not listening. I don't get, I'm a little bit old, so I cannot hear properly. You have to shout. Will you fulfill the expectation of your parents, your friends, your near and dear ones? Okay. So now to fulfill the expectation, you have to be capable. An incapable person, how much expectation he or she can fulfill? Incapable person will put more load on them. Because at the end of 4 years, if you have no job, still you are asking for money, please give me. So it means more load on them. So is it a better way of fulfilling your expectations, their expectations, if you do not get a job after 4 years? I'm not able to hear. So it means, one thing is, you have to be capable to fulfill the expectations of your parents and near and dear ones. Is it okay? Can we all agree? Yes, sir. Okay. Now that is not enough, then you will be a very selfish person. You are only interested for you and for your family. There are many things outside family. Will you do something those who are outside your family? Somebody has not got opportunity the way you have got it. If you are in the top 5%, will you take care of the bottom 10%? Or you will say, no, I have got chicken, egg, fish and all those things, I will eat, I will not look at them. Put some security guard. If he or she looks at me, throw him out. Will you do like that? No, I am a vegetarian, I don't eat chicken and mutton, but that's only symbolic. Okay. So the point is, you all have to be capable to satisfy the expectations of your family, immediate family, and there are many people outside your family who are suffering. They don't have a good house to live. They do not get good education. They cannot go to hospital if they do not have money. There are many such people you will find. Is it okay or not? You have a responsibility for them. The moment you see or you think or you realize, I have to do something for others, that you keep it in your mind, that's why I have to work hard. Can we take such a view individually? I don't want to, you have to take a place here in front of me. You take a place to yourself, that you will not cheat yourself. What is the meaning of cheating yourself? Does anybody cheat himself or herself? We all cheat ourselves. But we think we are cheating others. And that is the foolishness. So what it means that I will not cheat myself? I will take every opportunity to strengthen myself so that I am capable. Now what sort of capability I am talking? Can anybody say, at the end of 4 years, what are your objectives? That means what you want to become. Have you thought of? Or there is no time to think? You have just completed +2, qualified in the entrance examination, just took admission, and once you reach here, sir is telling, aaj yoga hai, aaj this thing, that thing, there is no time to think. But you have at least 1 hour to see your WhatsApp. I think that you all will be doing. No? I'm very happy. How many of you are spending less than 15 minutes in WhatsApp? Very good. Keep it up. This house should be filled with hands all around. Your exposure to WhatsApp is directly proportional to degree of your failure. The more you spend your time in WhatsApp, more you are digging your hole to go down. That much is sure. Anyway, that you know, I will be coming to it, maybe if time permits, little later. So what I am trying to say, after 4 years, you have only 3 options in front of you. I don't know if you have thought of or not, there are 3 options. Number 1 option is, some of you are interested to get a job. How many of you are interested or looking forward to have a job after 4 years of education? Please raise your hand. Okay. So there are many people who are interested, many. Can you very quickly settle down? Then only I can talk. And you need to remain silent. So what I could see, a large proportion of those who are present here, probably about 80%, are interested to get a job at the end of 4 years. Is it okay? Okay. Then the second option is available for you. Some of you will be interested to go for higher education. How many of you, till today you have thought of you will go for higher education? Okay. So about 10% are interested for higher education. And the third option, that is the next only option available for you unless you become a parasite. Do you all understand the meaning of the word parasite? Who depends on others? That is parasite. Unless you do not want to be a parasite, after the first category you want a job, you want to go for higher education, the third option available is you become an entrepreneur. You become a business person. How many of you want to start a business at the end of 4 years? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, very good. I am so happy that at least today 10 to 12 persons are thinking that you will become an entrepreneur. Now, this is only today's number. It will change with time. Today is very early period on which I am asking. So, but these are the 3 options available to you. Is there any other option available to you unless you become a parasite? Is there any other option? No other option. So from today, spend next few days or maybe few weeks or till the end of the first semester, you decide more or less what you want to become. You want to get a job, you want to go for higher education, or you want to start an enterprise. Now all these things also possible. You can start in any one area, you can move to other area. For example, in my case, after engineering, I went for a job because my family was in need of it. Because only when I earn, my family can have food. Literally speaking, it is food. Because that is the type of poverty from which I came. So for me, job was the most important and only important thing for me. So I did not pursue higher studies, and thinking of starting an enterprise was beyond my imagination. But after working for a few years, I went for higher studies. When I got sufficient money with me and I had the confidence that I can leave a job today, after 1 year I can get another job. So that much of confidence when I had, I left the job, went for higher education. And after higher education also, I did not have the courage to start an enterprise. Because I thought enterprise to start is a difficult job. But that has to wait another 30 years. So like last 10 years, I have started 3 enterprises on which I am working. So in the phase of your life, you can change from one phase to another phase based on your interest and the competence you build with you. So it is possible with all of you, but for doing all these things, all these 3 things, you require certain skills. And those skills cannot be obtained or generated in a short duration. You have to work every day, 7 days in a week, 12 months in a year, or 365 days in a year, and for how long? 10, 20, 30, 40 years. Are you ready for that marathon? Those who are not ready for that marathon, obviously, you cannot achieve all those things what I am talking. And I will tell you what those things you have to do and what you should not do. Is this part clear to all of you till now? Okay. Now, what you need to do to get a job, let us say, to start with, or go for a higher education. For the time being, enterprise part I am leaving. Those of you who are interested, I can talk to you personally at some point of time, because I stay in Berhampur around 3 weeks in a month, and I go every day, passing the school twice, to my school along with Mr. Kalyan Banerjee. You would have met him. So we too are part of that school we have started. So all the time we are available. So anytime any of you are interested, you can discuss with us. Now, what are the skills you need to develop? First skill is communication. What is the first skill you need to develop? Communication. English language communication. Communication in English language. Now I told you I came from an Odia medium school. I went to a place where people are speaking Hindi and English. Hindi was also very much foreign to me. And today also I am extremely poor in Hindi. But English language communication is the most important thing that you need to have. I don't have any special love for English. But why I want? Tomorrow if somebody tells, you please speak Telugu, I will give you 5 lakh rupees per month salary, I will start learning Telugu today. Because I am a very selfish person. And I want all of you should be selfish for a good cause. All of you agree? So we do not have any special love or hatred for anybody. Wherever my interest will be satisfied in a positive way, not in a negative way. I will not take him that I will borrow money from him, he treats me in a restaurant every day, so I become his friend. No, not that sort of selfishness. Selfishness for my growth and my friend's growth. That is my selfishness. Okay. So, English language communication, how you need to improve? By speaking all the time in Odia? All the time in Hindi? So you have to speak only in English. But you know all of us are comfortable in our own language. Why I should speak in English? And I'll tell you what happened to me. Because some of you will be certainly much better than me to start with. And if I share my experience, maybe it is useful to you. When I went to engineering college in Rourkela was a big city for me that time, as if I am going to a different world. When I reached there, I could not talk to anybody because I was feeling shy. Because I was thinking if I speak something, people will tell, this fellow doesn't know how to speak. So what is the best way? Not to speak. But I decided no, not to do that one. What I did, we used to have students sharing one room. 3 or 4 students used to stay in one room. Okay. When our teacher asked, who are the people with whom you want to share your room? I said, sir, those students who are not from Odisha, who are not from North India, I want to be with them because I assumed in my mind, those who are coming from South India, they do not know much Hindi, they do not know Odia, so we have to communicate only in English. So that was the first task I did it. So I stayed in a room where my friends were Tamil Nadu, friends were from Andhra Pradesh, we were 3 people who were staying. So that helped me every day to communicate with them because you stay outside class maybe around 12-13 hours. So that is the first thing I did it. Second thing what I did, we had an excellent library and I am sure you will be also having it here. I used to read every day English newspaper. How many of you read English newspaper? Few people. I want to see everybody in this room must read English newspaper if you want to really be successful in your life. Now how much English newspaper costs in a month? Say 150 rupees. Okay. Buy only Hindu or Indian Express, nothing else. I have my favorite for that one. I know why it is so something. So these are the one of these 2 English newspaper. Even Times of India, anything you want to buy, but start with an English newspaper every day. Now some of you may be very jealous in saying, in my room 4 persons are there. Now he is not sharing. Why I should buy? He is also reading. Don't worry for that. You assume, you think, can your parents afford 150 rupees per month to read, buy an English newspaper? I am sure everybody who is there can afford 150 rupees. You may skip an outside dinner. You can stop buying one shirt because 3-4 shirts are okay in a year. So some of these things you can curtail so that buy one English newspaper every day in your room and read it. What you will be saying, sir, today in the net everything I get it in my mobile phone. That is a stupid way of doing it, reading newspaper in the mobile phone. You may think I am an old person, I am against technology. But during my introduction, the person said, my PhD is in management of technology. I understand what technology is, how technology can help. If you read from the net will only give you with time because it has artificial intelligence. Wherever you are interested, those news will be flashing in front of you. You will not get the complete picture. If you read an English language newspaper, physically you can see, and in one place everything is there. You will learn sports, you will learn music, you will learn technology, you will learn business, you will learn politics, you will learn social affair, culture, everything it will be there. So, buy one English language newspaper. Don't worry if your friends are not paying money, even you alone are paying, that's okay. Is it correct? Is it possible or not? So read English language newspaper. That is number one. Okay. Second thing, that means at least 1 hour per day, you will be thinking, where that 1 hour will come? You will find out. Even today, I spend 1 hour every day for reading English language newspaper. I have many other thoughts. Is this acceptable? From the voice, I could know to what percentage is acceptable. Okay. No, I am not forcing you that you have to accept me, because you don't want to offend me. You want to feel that I should feel happy and go here. But you need not worry for that. I will not be unhappy with you. I will wait for generations to talk. Every time, sometimes they have been very kind to invite me. I have been telling. You ask your seniors whether they read English language newspaper or not. But that is not a good way to follow. Don't follow somebody who is not doing better. So English language newspaper, you have to read every day at least for 1 hour. That's my recommendation. Second one, what communication means. One is, of course, English language competency. You have to speak with your friends most of the time in English. And the problem is, when you start speaking, your friend will start ridiculing you. अरे वो अंग्रेज आ गया. Overnight अंग्रेज बन गया. All these things they will start talking. Don't listen to them. Don't listen to anybody who gives negative remark to you. But you reflect, is it really correct or not? Is it useful or not? If it is useful, you accept it. If it is not useful, just discard it. Don't offend him or her. Don't follow it. After 1 year, they themselves will come and follow your path. Don't worry for that. So English language newspaper, you have to read. Now communication means one is language, another is the content. If you do not know the content, what you are going to speak? You have to speak some substance. Let us say, imagine, who is your favorite film actress? Actress? No actress. Who is your favorite film star? Actor? Akshay Kumar. Okay. Now imagine, please, no noise, no discussion there, we have to sit down. Hey gentlemen, hello? No discussion now, wherever the space is there, you will sit. Okay. Now let us say, imagine for the moment, Akshay Kumar suddenly comes in front of you. Or in the lift you are going, you found Akshay Kumar is there. Or you will say, just think what to do, 5 minutes over, he leaves and you leave. So the point is, to talk something to Akshay Kumar, you should have some ideas about film. Need not be about Akshay Kumar. Say, I have very least idea, I rarely watch pictures. But I can discuss at least 10-15 minutes on serious issues about cinema. See, for example, one of the very famous director India has produced in film is Mr. Satyajit Ray. And he borrowed or he got this knowledge from it, one famous director, film director in the world, his name is Akira Kurosawa. Akira Kurosawa is a Japanese director and sometimes you must see his films. So from there he got a lot of technology, lot of techniques, many other things that he brought. Now I can discuss with Akshay Kumar or Amitabh Bachchan for that matter about Akira Kurosawa. Now that is of common interest. But then you should know about something film. So you have to read books outside textbooks to increase your world view. If you are a mechanical engineer, you are an instrumentation engineer, or you are in computer science, that domain knowledge of course you will have. But can you talk something how technology evolving with time, how technology used in sports, how technology affecting our life, those things where you learn, not from your textbook. You have to learn those things from the books which are not textbooks. That's why at least in a month, you have to complete one book which is not part of textbook, you will borrow from library. If any of you are interested, you can contact me, I will give you a list of books which you should read. So 2 things I told you to improve communication. To improve your language, English language, you have to buy one English language newspaper read every day, be with your friend with whom you can talk in English. That is number one, practice. And second one, you will read, this time not buying, borrowing books from library. That will increase your worldview. So content and competence in the language, these two things constitute communication. Is it okay? We have already closed 9:30 to 10:17. How much time we have? More? Okay. Are you all bored now? No, sir. Can I take another 15-20 minutes? Yes, sir. Okay. So now after this one, once you know how to communicate, and as I said, this has to be practiced every day, starting from which day? Today. That's the right thing. Not tomorrow. You will start it from today. And don't think I have an agency running newspaper. I will get benefit. No, I don't have any such agency. Okay. So one is that communication part. So your expertise in communication will help you to get a job. That's number one. Number two, that you need to have ability to work in a team. This college will give you enough opportunity to do many projects. Do you agree or not? There will be plenty of projects. And when you do the projects, you will know, let us say you are 4 persons in one group and you are doing a project. What will happen out of 4? 2 will not cooperate. They will go away. Okay. Out of other 2, that there maybe you do not like a person. So sometimes you will feel you are the only person who is doing the project. Nobody is helping, nobody is cooperating. But at the end, when you submit the project, everybody gets same mark. Then you will feel why I should do the project. So then the best way is die together. Everybody gets 0, that's the best thing. Because anyway these 2 persons are not interested. They have already decided. Now you decide, okay, I will be going with them. But consider, this is a great opportunity for you from 2 counts. One is, if you do more project alone, you will learn more or not? Every time you do something, your expertise goes up. So don't complain if your friends are not participating. You do the job and write their name, and also have some understanding that your teachers are not stupid. They have also some level of intelligence. That's why they have come. Do you think our Trilochan Raut sir is a stupid person? No, don't say just because he is there. See, the point is, they have also some level of knowledge. They will understand who works, who does not work. Because you are here for 4 years. You are not doing only one project. And we observe you in every field, every activity, whatever you do. So they will recognize you. They will give you better grade and better mark. But even forget that one, you are also learning every day once you are doing more. That is the one benefit. But second benefit will be, and that is what you have to work hard to get it. It is your job as a leader to see everybody must participate. If you are not doing, you are incompetent. If you cannot manage 4 people in a group to do the job, then what you will do in a company tomorrow? You cannot say, my company only my 3 friends have to come. That you can decide. Can you decide that? You have to have the ability to work in a place where all have different interests, but you will generate a common interest. So then what you have to do? You have to beg, borrow, fall down on their feet, help him, help her, if necessary. But your job is, you have to complete this assignment, not by stealing, not by copying. You have to do on your own, together. But you borrow ideas from many places, but write down, this is the source, I have got it. Is it okay or not? Okay. So it means you should know, you should have the ability, acquire the ability to work in a team. Every organization which will hire you, they will try to find out, can you be a good team player? Now, for example, in the team, I will give one instance, and that's what I follow. You can imagine I am the most handsome person here, without hair, all those things it is there. Okay. So what I do, any place I try to do or go any place, I try to find out which job is not interested by my group members. And that I fight to get it. They feel very happy, they dump it on me. Because when you say nobody is interested, I will give an example what can be an area. Let us say you all go for a picnic. That's a teamwork. Everybody will decide about the menu, which place, all those things. There I have my little contribution. I don't do. I say from the very beginning, after the picnic, when everything is over, you are all tired, I will take the cleaning job, collecting the utensils, and that responsibility bringing it to the school or college, wherever you have gone. So who will compete with you for that? You have no competition. Then the best job for you to do is if there is no competition. So invariably, the job which is least liked by people, you take it. Then you become a leader. When Mahatma Gandhi returned to India, when he was not a Mahatma, he was an ordinary Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi. He came to Calcutta, Indian National Congress, session was there. He asked Tilak, he said, sir, what I will do? He said, you do the work which nobody is interested to do. You know what Gandhiji did it? He did the cleaning of toilets. Because that time, there was no this type of toilet, it was Utha Paikhana. So he was cleaning that one. And imagine thousands of people assembling in a place, how much dirty it will be that place. That was his job. In many institutions, I have been the head of the institution. As director, as dean, as vice chancellor, that I have worked in many places. And my job in most of the places has been in charge of maintaining cleanliness in toilet. That is my primary job. That is the job I take it, besides other jobs. So I would invite sometime you come to our school, you will find it is not less than a 5-star facility. The toilet when you go, washroom when you go. Because your contribution starts from there, which nobody will take if you are ready to take. That is the leadership. And automatically you are a team player. It's okay or not? So I am not saying from every day, everybody from tomorrow will become a janitor or cleaning staff. That I am not saying. Point is, don't feel bad about it. Dignity of labor, that's what you have to practice. So till now I have only told 2 things to you to do. One is English language communication and work in a team. When you work in a team, there are some special quality you need to develop, and that takes time. Now I think you all will be arguing, computer science is a good department or mechanical is a good department. Odia is a good language or Telugu is a good language. Odias are good or Telugu people are bad. So Indians are intelligent or Pakistanis are intelligent. Cricket, prayer karna hai, Pakistani harna chahiye. So all these things will be in different ways they will be discussing. But can I suggest to think, all these are useless discussions. Respect everybody. Everybody has a place in this earth. Will you like a monoculture or a forest? Monoculture means when you go to some place, only one type of trees are grown. It looks very beautiful from outside. But forest has many different plants. That is called diversity. In your day-to-day life, respect diversity in all possible way. Every caste, every religion, every language, every gender, you have many things to learn from them. No language is inferior, no language is superior. Have the ability to understand this part and practice it. Okay. So this is what diversity is related to your teamwork. Because a team, different type of interest, different type of people will be there. Okay. Are you tired now? Okay. Then let me tell you one story. How many of you like stories? All of you. All of you read stories or only who are interested in listening stories? Read stories. Also start writing stories sometime. It may be very bad initially, don't worry. Okay. Now this story I heard from one of my students. So that's why I am telling to you. In fact, when I came, I asked some of the young students what I should talk to them today. They said, sir, best thing will be if you do not talk. I said, but they have invited me, I have to talk something. Okay, if you have to talk, then talk only one or two things, don't talk much. Okay, so that's only two things I have talked to you. That have an objective at the end of 4 years what you want to do, and to achieve that objective, have a routine. Each of you have to have a routine. You all understand routine? What do you mean by routine? Pardon? Yes, schedule. Your daily schedule. You will get up at this point of time, you will do these things, come to the college, you return, you do something, and then in the night you sleep, then next day you get up. So this is the routine. But whatever you write, you are not taking approval from anybody, that's your routine. And it will be possible that you may not follow it. So you change again. So there will be many routines you do, but there has to be a routine. Okay. So I talk to you about objective, fix a goal at the end of 4 years, follow a routine, improve your communication, and have the ability to work in a team. These are the things I have talked to you. Now this is the story which I want to share, and maybe at the end I will conclude with this one, and if you have any question that I can discuss. Now story is like this. All of you know, long ago, we had a Gurukula system. So what used to happen that time? There are 4 stages of life: Brahmacharya, Gayastha, Vanaprastha, Yativrata. So in the first 15 years or so, it is expected that the child will go and stay in the house of a Guru or Guru Mata and learn from them how they have to grow as an individual, acquire different skills, so that will be helpful for the future of their life. Okay. And that is the stage actually you are here. At least 4 years you have come away from your parents, you will be staying in the hostel. Now, such type of tradition was there in Japan also. And this story is a Japanese story. In Japan, people used to go and stay with the gurus. And some gurus obviously will be good, just like some colleges are more preferred by many, and some colleges are not preferred. Similarly, some gurus are liked by many people, and some gurus are not so much liked. Okay. And these children, what they used to see, the gurus have only the chance to examine the student and accept whom to take or not to take. For example, you appeared a competitive examination. Now colleges decided whether to accept you or not. Is it correct or not? You only selected based on some criteria to you, but major thing was there, your rank is this one, you can go to these colleges, these branches, that's what is there. So finally it is the college decided. Okay. Similarly, earlier gurus will decide whether I will accept him, accept her, or somebody else. Okay. But as usual, there was a person who used to think one student. He used to question all the time. It can be she also. She also used to think and question many times. Many questions. Sometimes you will feel this fellow pagal ho gaya. और हमेशा कुछ पूछता रहता है. But that is the habit of this student. He said that why Guru should select me, decide whether I can study with him or not. Now let me conduct an examination. All the gurus I will test. I will decide which guru whoever will pass, I will go to him or her to study. So change the table. You know, just like I am speaking, you will say, hey, this fellow is already speaking for 1 hour, stop him. Now let me speak. It is like that. So the student, what he did, he announced, this time there will be examination of gurus. So now all these gurus are standing here, sitting here. You imagine. Now here that student is here. Now student said, I will ask few questions, and if you can satisfactorily answer, I will join you, otherwise I will not join you. Okay. So child, the student or aspiring student is now selecting the guru where he or she can study. Okay. Now the question starts. Now the students are asking question to all of you are gurus, teachers. He asked that, sir or mom, you can see my hand? Says, in my hand, and he put it like this one. This is the fist. He said, when I put my hand, that means muthare. In my mutha, in my fist, there is a fly. Fly mane machi. A makhi is there, a fly is there. Now question is, this is the information given to all the gurus. Now the question is, you have to tell whether it is live or dead. That is the question. You got the question? All of you have understood? That this hand he put it like this one, then he showed I have put it like this. But inside this there is a fly. Gote machi a bhitere rohiche. Now question is, all the teachers, he will ask one by one, you have to say whether this fly is live or dead. Bonchichi na marchi. This is the question. Now gurus were there. They are also equally intelligent. They were thinking, at least one among them, she thought, if I say it is live, matlab jinda hai, if I say, what this fellow will do? Before opening this one, he will cross it and open. वो prove करेगा ये जिंदा नहीं, it is dead. Because you will cross it and open. Now if I say it is dead, he will just open. It will fly away. So whatever I will say, this fellow will prove me wrong. Now how to pass? Well, he has to answer in such a way that child will be convinced that yes, he has given the correct answer. Now what this teacher, the famous teacher, what he said or she said, that my son or my daughter, depending on who is standing here, said, it's all in your hand. All in your hand means whatever you decide, that is correct. If you say it is dead, it is dead. If you say it's live, it is live. Because you are the person who is doing all those things. Because that person, when he crosses, if I decide it has to be live, it will be live. I will open it, it will be live. If I decide it is dead, I will cross it and open, I am dead. That fly is dead. So what it means for you? After 4 years, you will be good in communication or not? Can you become a team player or not? Can you be empathetic to your friends? Can you fulfill the responsibility for yourself, for your parents and for the society? All depends on yourself. So that is the message only I wanted to tell you today. Everybody else is there to support you. Support comes to those who seek support. You have to be hungry that I need this one, I need that one. And don't be afraid. And always follow the path of being in uncomfortable zone. I am not telling in the comfort zone. And this is my last sentence to you, it will be last 1 or 2 sentences. See, all of us like to be in our comfort zone. I will give a small example. Let's say you are in the hostel. You do not like some senior students or somebody sitting in a culvert and talking to you. Let's say culvert, 2 sides are there, this side, this side. Here 4 or 5 students, that side 4 or 5 students. Your hostel is there, now you have to cross this one. Now you feel very uncomfortable. So let us wait till these people go away. That is one strategy you will follow. Second one, you say, let us go 2-3 people together, so that I alone will not be feeling bad. Okay. That is in an uncomfortable situation. Now, how to avoid it? So what you would do, have to do, don't worry, expose yourself to that uncomfortable situation. You just go and walking. 2-3 times you do, you will be very strong after that. And this is my last example to you from my own life. As I said, when I went to the engineering college, I was extremely poor in English language. Our English professor, that time there used to be 100-mark subject in English in the first semester. So the professor of English, he asked in the class, in the first class, in the next class I want one of you should give a speech on a topic of your choice. Who is interested? I raised my hand. Then all my friends who were there who knew me, they said, what a stupid fellow. We know he does not know good English, but he raised his hand. That made my difference. Because that day, because before that I made lot of preparation. So that day I fumbled I could still remember that day, that scene. I fumbled. But after my speech, my professor said, you see, he could speak so well. I know it was not so well, but he encouraged me. Then that fear which was there, gradually it went away. All my friends who are considering me, this is a mopho. You know mopho means mopsali. They stopped talking like that. So you have to come out of your comfort zone. Move in that direction. It's all possible. Thank you very much. It's so nice for a patient hearing. If there are any questions from you, 1 or 2 questions I can take. Okay, thank you very much. Nice to be with you.
On the behalf of PMSC, we extend a hearty vote of thanks to Professor Haribandhu Panda sir, who spared time for his busiest schedule to grace the occasion. Thank you so much, sir, for such an illuminating session.
So now I would like to request Debasisrat sir to present Professor Haribandhu sir with a memento.
Respecting you, you all will be successful.
Thank you so much, sir.
Maintain silence, guys. I cried a river of tears, but he was too heavy to float on them. So I dragged him with me these years across an ocean. The lines which I cited were one of the greatest sayings of August Wilson.
We have a charming personality over here who is well known for his work for the book Locating the Self, Fragmentation and Reconnection in the plays of Adrian Kennedy and August Wilson. He is none other than Dr. Sudarshan Sahu, sir.
Talk to yourself once in a day, otherwise, you may miss meeting an intelligent person in the world.
In a day when you don't come across any problems, you can be sure that you are traveling in a wrong path.
You guys must be wondering why are we citing these quotes? Because our next session is going to be about the person who quoted these. He was one of the most popular Hindu monks and spiritual leader of India. He is Swami Vivekananda.
So now we would like to invite Sir upon the stage to give us an insight of life and teachings of Swami Vivekananda. So we heartily welcome.
Esteemed Professor Devashish Ratha, my dearest brother, and my beloved students. It is my privilege, very fortunate, to inspire our students on the life and teachings of Swami Vivekananda, an insightful analysis. So in this speech, I will tell you some of the essential concepts regarding the life and the career of Swami Vivekananda, why our youngsters should know what are the moralities, philosophical teachings of Swami, who is the rejuvenator of Hinduism, who is the greatest and monumental figure in the Indian history, who is the propounder of the Vedanta in America. But before that, I am going to inspire to my students regarding why do you love Swamiji's philosophy as the greatest philosophy? Because Swami Vivekananda, regarding his early life, he is training to disciple at the feet of Ramakrishna. These are the various facets of Swamiji's career and personality. First, I shall tell you regarding what are the essential parts we should know about the life and career of Swami Vivekananda. Because as you can see that Swamiji was born in 1863, early in the morning, 6:33. And his mother's name was Bhuvaneshwari Devi. Swamiji's philosophy is very difficult to understand. But I will tell you some of the essential concepts regarding Swamiji's life and career. Why do you think Swamiji is the greatest monk or the saint? And before that, I will tell you what are the essential philosophies regarding Swamiji's career. Why do you love Swamiji as the greatest saint and monk in the world? Why the Americans, they love Swamiji as the greatest spiritual leader, as the greatest religious leader? What are the secrets behind the career and teachings of Swamiji? Because if you understand, Swamiji's mother's name was Bhuvaneshwari Devi, and she prayed Lord Shiva, Bireshwar Shiva, to get a son, because when his relatives were going and praying at Varanasi, and his mother gave and told her, prayed to have a son. That's why Swamiji was born 1863, 6:33 early in the morning. And she is the blessing, or this is the gift of Lord Bireshwar. And before that, he was named as a Bireshwar, and after that he was called as a Naren. So that's why his early name was Narendranath Datta. But if you understand, one thing I can tell you, the most interesting part of Swamiji's career, if you will happy to know that Swami Vivekananda, what you called as Naren in the early life of his days, his grandfather was a totally detached from this worldly and mundane life. He was not happy with this worldly life. So that's why some sort of blessings were from his grandfather. But Swamiji's, as I can, Naren's father was fully attached to the family life. He was happy as he was a lawyer, a court, he was in the profession of law. So that's why some sorts of inspirations are there from his grandfather's side. But the most important thing Swamiji or Narendra or Swami Vivekananda tells that he is quite indebted to his mother, Bhuvaneshwari Devi, because his mother was a good reader. He was loving to read Ramayana and Mahabharata. Try to understand. Because our students of this college, they should be imbibed the philosophy, the life of Swami Vivekananda. In order to pave, and it will give a very good direction for the 4 years throughout your life, I can tell you. If you accept the Swamiji's life and career, it is the greatest, and it will give you the various secrets, the various solutions of your life. But one thing I can tell you, we shall discuss the various facets of Swamiji's career and personality. First is early life. At the feet of Ramakrishnan, you can see. Second. Third, training and disciple, training of the disciple. What sort of training he has got? That's why Swamiji. That's why Vedanta in America. What sort of blessing, what sort of a training that he had got from Lord Ramakrishna. And then his trip to America, Vedanta in America, as a wandering monk. After some days, you can see that Swami Vivekananda was not attached to this physical world with family, wife, children. He was dissociated. But what are the secrets? We have to understand the logics behind it. Why was not he attached to this mundane world, to this physical world with the nearest and dearest? But after some days, you can see at the early life, you understand his mother. His mother's influence was enormous on the career and personality of Swamiji, because she was teaching his son to be guided the philosophy of Ramayana and Mahabharata, because she was an avid learner and a reader of Ramayana and Mahabharata. But after some days, Swami Vivekananda was quite attracted to the Lord, you can see, Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva is the Lord of renunciation. What is that? He was not happy with this world. This philosophy of renunciation was inculcated in the mind of Swamiji after some days. Sit down. So he was, after some days, he prayed Lord Shiva, but he was also happy with his mother's influence. But is some father's direction on the character and personality of Swamiji was also pertinent, was also quite important. If Swami tells some rude words to his mother, sometimes, some occasions, some situations, Naren tells some rude words to his mother. His father's direction to his son is quite inspiring. He tells, writes on the boat, Swami has used this word to his mother. When Swami or Naren, as we can, at early days, we can call him Naren because he is a lot of people. That's why he is called as Narendranath. You see, what happens, I am telling you his father's and mother's influence on the character and personality of Swamiji. First we shall see, if you see Swami as a man of strength, a vigorous personality, a personality of a noble personality, it is because of his father and mother. And his father's direction was like, if sometimes he uses some vulgar words to his friends, his father was also guiding him. He was inspiring him. He was telling him not to use such words. So his mother's, as a spiritual lady, as a character of Swamiji. Her mother's influence on divinity, eternal bliss, these were quite pertinent on the character of Swami Vivekananda. So Bhubaneswar Devi had got Swamiji as a gift of Lord Shiva. But what happened, you can see some of the situations which troubled Swamiji or Naren a lot. What were the situations? Because when he saw that, so when a beggar was seen at the door, he was locked in the room. And some situations that was happening, he was looking at the doors at the windows of his room and throwing everything. So try to understand, Naren was such a fellow. So after some days, his character was different. There was an internal conflict in his mind. An eternal conflict, and he was searching for a solution. What is that? How to pray God? As I was telling, because he was a very good student in history. History was his favorite subject. He was not loving English because it was a foreign origin. But he was very good at English also. But history was his favorite subject. But one point I can tell, after graduation, or I can tell you after completing his school days, when he was admitted at college, Scottish college, you can understand, man from Calcutta. So he came across a professor in history. What was his name? Professor Hastie. His name was Professor Hastie. And Professor Hastie's comment on the character of Swami Vivekananda was different. On the character and personality as a student was quite different. He had seen so many, to quote his comment, I can tell, I have seen so many students of my life, I have never seen a student like Naren. I have seen, try to understand, I have seen so many students in my life, but I have never seen a student like Naren. Because Naren was quite devoted, Naren was quite loving, he was a leader in class among his friends. Any kinds of problems confronted by his friends immediately came to Naren, and Naren was a student, was a friend for their solution, for their immediate solutions. But what happened, you can see, when he was a small child, sleeping and dreaming about the realities of life. Hey, what are you doing? अरे ना ना जाओ श्री बस नहीं ला अटेंडेंस सबले मु अटेंडेंस बिकन ସାଇଲେଣ୍ଟଲି ବସ ହେଲା ସେ ସବୁ ଆଟେଣ୍ଡାନ୍ସ ପଛରେ ହେବ if you are interested to sit and listen then please sit calmly and quietly without any single disturbance. Listen, what happens? As I was telling, he was very good at history. His professor's name was Professor Hasty. He commented happily on the character of Naren. I have seen so many students of my life. I have never seen a student like him. But two incidents which troubled him a lot. What were the two incidents? When he was a small child, two incidents he saw. What were they? One incident, he saw a monk with a very good appearance, happy in his mind, in a delightful discomposition, in a delightful appearance, walking. As if he has nothing but happy with his own spiritual world. He observed this sight too. And then another incident, he saw that a wealthy man, he was happy with his relative, happy with his wife, son, children, and working. So, by observing these two incidents, he decided to follow the first incident rather than the second one. The first incident attracted and fascinated him a lot. The first incident. That's why he tried to follow the life of a monk. And another incident I can tell you and inspire you, which is quite pertinent, which is quite important. When he was sleeping deep of the night, he had a different kind of realization, a different kind of feelings. What was that? As if his body was submerged, he kind of a bliss was that kind of bliss was submerged in his body. And a red light ball, you can try to understand, a red light ball was looking and he was dreaming and observing. And this red light ball was bursting. And with the burst of this red light, his whole body was submerged. That was a regular kind of occurrence. He was just realizing it. And when he told these kinds of incident to his friends, he had that kind of inspiration that, or that kind of feeling that may be a regular incident or that kind of feeling common to all. A red light ball bursting and the whole, his whole body was a radiance. When he inquired these kinds of feeling from his friends denied. No, we don't have this kind of experience. How do you feel it? This kind of experience, this is my regular feeling and it is my regularly occurring to me. This was regularly occurring to me. So naturally they denied. And after some days, when he became old, after some days, these kinds of incidents declined its vivacity, its intensity. But that was a kind of occurrence which he experienced and realized at early of his life every day. That was a regular experience. I can tell you these three incidents, if you understand, suppose the monk's appearance, wealthy man's appearance, and these kinds of realization. These three incidents which were quite pertinent on the character and personality of Narendranath. But some days, by looking his, he has did not develop a very good, was not academically very sound. Try to understand. I cannot tell that he was not academically sound, but sometimes these regular studies, coming to class, attending everything, that did not fascinate him. He tried to do something, inquired, because he was, as I was telling, that's a sort of a conflict which was undergoing on his mind and personality every day. That is an internal conflict. What was that? So by looking his mental condition, his mental states, his mental atmosphere, the professor of history told him to meet him Sri Ramakrishnan. Some fellow, some Surendranath Mitra, another person who also guided him. Just you can go to Dakhineshwar Kali temple. There was a priest there. You can meet him, and he might be, or he might solve some of the problems with you. The problems that you are facing, we don't have any answer. What is God? Who is God? Why do you worship God? These are the questions which was going deep into his mind. Whenever a person comes for any kinds of intellectual discussion, intelligent discussions, he was asking this question: have you seen God? Why do we pray God? What are the logics to pray God? So Professor Hasti was worried. Some of the lectures he told this Naren, instead of asking this question to me, you can go to Dakhineshwar Kali temple, you can ask him, and as a result, you can get a proper solutions. But before that, I can tell you, some sorts of confrontations occurred between the Swamiji and his father. In a situation, he told to his father, "Father, what have you done for me? You tell me, what have you done for me?" His father's reply was quite interesting. He told Naren, go and stand in front of the mirror. You can get the answer. Naren was silent. These are the incidents of his early life. Some of the other incidents are there where is quite interesting. In one incident I can tell you and inspire you. Some of his friends, classmates, they entered to a yard to bring and steal some fruits from that yard, from that tree, which is a tree of another person. To pluck fruits, some of the trees are there. Just some students, they climbed and collected fruits. When, this is a very interesting incident, when some persons told that some ghosts are appearing, so we should not enter to this yard because we face some difficult situations. It was Naren who objected them. He was very practical and he entered where all his friends, they did not dare to enter, and he entered. From this incident we understand Swami as a Naren has a very logical state of mind. He was not following what others are telling. He tells to all his friends, don't believe that it is there in the book. Don't believe though the teachers are telling. Be logical and practical. Unless and until you have to be very much logical, and this is the statement and philosophy of Swamiji. So he was quite practical in understanding everything, in realizing everything. that we can understand the best realization of Swami Vivekananda. The best, I can tell you, the best realization, the best experience of Swami Vivekananda. That we can understand the eternal bliss of Swamiji. He was not following blindly. Because as we can understand, when he was a figure, at that time, Raja Rammohn Rai, who was the founder of Brahmo Samaj. Brahmo Samaj, if you understand the history behind this man, you can get the curious informations. Brahmo Samaj at that time, the blind beliefs, superstitions, orthodox ideas, these were prevailing. But Swami Vivekananda was objecting it. He was not following blindly the dogmas of the society, the superstitious beliefs of the society. He was quite practical. So the same problem arose. He met Sri Ramakrishna. That's why another segment and a facet of his personalities are the feet of Ramakrishna. So he followed Sri Ramakrishna without, as Professor Hastey had not told. As somebody has told and advised him to follow and to be the disciple of Swamiji, he did not follow it. He was not the follower of, the disciple of Sri Ramakrishna blindly. There are various interactions and confusions. There are various interactions which was not healthy between a teacher and the disciple. But what sort of teacher was Sri Ramakrishna was? He had given enough freedom to his disciple. Other disciples were there. Abhipsa. Do you listen me or not? Abhipsa. Other disciples are Abhipsa and our senior students. They were organizing these kinds of, you are quite indebted, like Noreen. You are indebted to because they are your torch bearers. They are your guides. We have never seen Swamiji now. Various Noreens are there and various Ramakrishnans are there. Yes or no? Yes or no? Yes, sir. Thank you. Listen.
Please maintain silence, guys.
Silence. Other interesting episodes are there. We shall cover it. This is a spiritual session which is going on. So try to listen. After discussion. I will allow 15 minutes to ask the question and solve it. No problem. So listen. So at the feet of Ramakrishna, as I was telling, Ramakrishna had given him enough freedom to think his own form, to think by his freedom. So as a result, what happened, one incident I can tell you and present you. So one incident was in the feet of, I can tell you, because with the death of Sri Ramakrishna, various incidents are there. In one incident I can tell you, Sri Ramakrishna took Naren to a garden. He has taken him 3-4 times But three incidents which was quite pertinent in his personality, because in one incident, Sri Ramakrishna Naren told that, have you seen God? Have you seen God? But Sri Ramakrishna's answer was quite negative. I have never seen God. But one consolation I am giving you, that try to understand. One consolation I am giving you, after some days you can understand. After some days. But what is the process? What is the method? You can tell me, how can you understand the presence and the existence of God? How can you understand and realize the existence of God? Some of the questions, and you can see when Sri Ramakrishna was not there, he was happily talking with his other disciples. Some of the opinions were against Sri Ramakrishna. I cannot tell you this cup is God, this chair is God, this light is God. Some incidents where other his disciples was telling Naren to think that this cup is chair, God. This chair is God. He was quite objecting it. I cannot follow. I have to understand that God is there. I can talk with God. Because you can see Sri Ramakrishna's as a teacher, he was very poor. Some cows are there, and he was not very materialistic, very sound. But the first meeting between Sri Ramakrishna and Naren was quite interesting. When he saw Swamiji or Naren for the first time, Sri Ramakrishna's interaction was interesting. He told him, why did you wait for so many days to come here? I was dreaming to come very early, but so many years come, so many days you pondered, so many days passed and crossed. Why did you wait for these years? So try to understand the meeting between Sri Ramakrishna and Naren. And that was the first reply. And when Naren and Sri Ramakrishna, it was just singing various devotional songs, though Naren was participating in it, but he was not fully devoted to it. He was not actively participating because he was had some doubts, dilemmas in his mind regarding the presence of God, regarding the existence of God, So, to solve all these issues and problems, the one disciple has come, unlike other disciples, he was objecting. Because other disciples were followers of my principle and they were very obedient to him. But here is a disciple who had come is objecting regarding the existence of God, regarding the existence of a Dakshineshwar Kali temple, Kali as the goddess of learning. Because Sri Ramakrishna was talking with a Kali, the goddess Kali. So what happened? So how to make him disciplined? How to make him disciplined as a disciple? That was a Herculean task on the shoulder of Sri Ramakrishna to make him a disciplined disciple, to make him quite obedient as a disciple. So it was quite difficult on part of Sri Ramakrishna. As a teacher, because his importance as a teacher on the character and personality of Swamiji was all pervading. He had taken so much pains and anxiety in order to make him disciplined. Suppose with one incident, with one talk, he was just slightly following the instructions of Sri Ramakrishna. In other moment, he was objecting it. The same situation. Some situations or some interactions he was following, but whenever he just asked his question to his own soul, he was not getting a proper reply. At the time, he was also objecting. And this goddess Kali, this God's existence, this was troubling him. And as I can, it is an internal dilemma. It is an internal problem with him. He was searching a question which he was not getting the proper answer. Who can give him the proper answer? So one thing what I have understood, one thing he did it. What was it? Meditation. You can get the best answer from your meditation. So with his disciples, he meditated. Swamiji's meditations was I can tell you, a monumental episode in the philosophical tradition, in the spiritual tradition. Swamiji's, uninterrupted meditation, which was a history in the spiritual bliss and the eternal bliss of Indian philosophic tradition. So he meditated. By this way, he got the answers. But one thing, another point I can tell you, as a teacher, Sri Ramakrishna not only inspired him to meditate, but also coming for a logical and reasonable discussions with him. He was participating in it. So all the discussions were centered on the Indian philosophy, Indian Hinduism, the Vedanta, and the Ramayana and Mahabharata. You can understand. These were the centers of the discussions. But sometimes the atmosphere, the ambience of that ambience with his disciples Sri Ramakrishna and other disciples with Naren was quite interesting. They were singing the various devotional songs. They were singing, together they were singing and singing the devotional songs. But after some days, what did I see? Swamiji's, because you can see, he has 4 sisters. 2 sisters died. After some days, with his father's death, and his mother was alone, some days alone. So some of the proposals were also, some of the proposals were there, to marry Naren, to lead a happy married life. But 1-2 proposals came, but Swami was not attached to these kinds of things. He was not inclined to these kinds of proposals. So he told strictly to his mother to lead a life of monk, a life of a sannyasini. That's why. But I can tell you, some sorts of discussions with Sri Ramakrishna, as with Naren, was interesting in the sense, they were discussing the essence of Hinduism. Try to understand. That's why the Vedanta in America, he preached and propagated. The Hinduism is the mother of all religions. In spite of our various differences, distinctions in various religions, he justified that Hinduism is the best religion, is the mother of all religions. Why do we disagree? That was a concept which he propagated at a Parliament of Religion. So in spite of our differences, we should follow Hinduism as the mother of religion. So that is at the feet of Ramakrishna. He got that kind of lessons from there. The spirit of Hinduism, the spirit of renunciation, renunciation. And the spirit of, I can tell you, the spirit of the great philosophic tradition of India, the Indian philosophic tradition, that was a centers of discussions between him and Lord Ramakrishna. But another incident I can tell you, which is quite interesting, with the death of Sri Ramakrishna, his disciples, they became orphan. Even they struggled day and night to get 2 squares of meals. Some of the disciples were wealthy. In the other side, on the contrary, you can see, on the other aspect, we can see that Swamiji's or Naren's, his father's death, his family life was becoming very poor. He was not happy with it. So these are the problems which was difficult on part of Naren to face it. His beloved teacher gone, died. He is no more to inspire him. And he has shouldered other responsibilities to Naren to take care of his disciples. It was instruction of Sri Ramakrishna. When Ramakrishna died, he told Naren to take care of other disciples because they are following you. So naturally what happened? It was a Herculean task which was assigned on Naren. What to do? How to solve all these problems? Because on the one aspect he was not materially or financially sound. Various financial constraints are there. Various financial problems are there. So how to solve it? And on other side is Ramakrishna, my father, they were not in this world. So with this, he just played the role of a sannyasini. He was just like a beggar. But you can see with his eyes, 2 eyes, but burning eyes, 2 diabolical eyes, which was impressing to all the persons who are looking at first time. So these are the problems who are not, whenever any new stranger looks at the 2 diabolical eyes of Swamiji, they will be happy to see it. They will be happy to see that this man is telling something from his heart, telling something from his mind, telling something from his realization. And he was telling something eternal bliss, salvation, spiritual bliss. So that's problems. You can see in the 3rd section I can tell you what sort of training he has got. Training of the disciple. Because this training, he has got the right kind of training from Sri Ramakrishna. Independent thinking, intensity of desire, oneness in everything. Hinduism as the mother of religion, rejuvenator of Hinduism as the greatest religion. These were some of the instructions, very forceful, very active instructions he had got. And this was the results of his training. So that's why if you see Swami today, it is because of his proper training. So he was quite indebted to his teacher. He was just like his parental coverings. He has given him enough freedom to think him independently. Not to follow blindly. What others are telling, not to follow it. But some days he realized. And then he got a very good solutions of all these issues, all these problems. So you see, in the 3rd part I can tell you, as a wandering monk, a man having nothing, just I can tell you, just a turban in his head, begging for alms with his other disciples, because he followed the instruction of his teacher very actively. But when he visited, as I can tell you, Varanasi, Himalaya, your various places, and it is because of his various places as a wandering monk. He visited all the holy and pious places of our country. And during these meetings, sometimes when he was discussing with his disciples, and some they were collectively and meeting at one point. But after some days, in this phase of this as a wandering monk, he tried to be dissociated from his disciples. You can see, you can read and also get the answers. After some days, he told all the disciples not to follow him. He wanted to be alone, to lead a life of solitariness, to lead a solitary life. So he went to Himalaya, Varanasi, Kashi, other places, various places he has visited, and also he just realized that at that point of time, but when Sri Ramakrishna was alive, just try to understand, when Sri Ramakrishna, he realized that the existence of God. Some of the incidents and inspirations were helpful for him to realize that presence of God. The presence of God, and then see just. But another incident I can tell you. What is that parliament of religion? Or we can understand Vedanta in America. 7,000 audience and people, they are sitting in the World Parliament Hall. I can tell you, and here is a man who has come from India to address, to preach, to propagate, to inspire the people from all religions. So, when all other speakers and spiritual leaders, they were coming from Judaism, Buddhism, Christianity, they were addressing with a happy address to all the spiritual leaders. But whenever this man spoke in the word of love and affection. He spoke, my dearest brothers and sisters. It gave him a very good opportunity to address, a very good addressing to all the persons who have come from different religions. So first 1, 2, 3 lines I can tell you, which we should know. Because whenever he addressed to all the persons, he told that we have come from various countries, various places, but all lead to the same place. And this sameness, this oneness among all is the essence of Hinduism. Hinduism is the mother of religion, it has everything. So that part which was justified, which was propagated, which was preached, and which was delivered by this man coming from India. One point I can tell you, he just presented a story there, which was very interesting story. That story was just transformed the ideologies and the ideals of all the persons who was just representative persons from all religions. What was that story? He told to justify that Hinduism has everything, but it has not narrowness. It embraced all religions. It is all embracing. What is that word? It is all embracing. So that's why he justified the wide acceptance of Hinduism as the mother of all religions. What is that story? Very interesting story. He told it. A small frog was living in a hole. So naturally, he was living in his hole, well, a well. Living into water of that well. He was happy in this world, waters, boundaries, everything. He was just happy. So naturally, another frog entered into that well. So he questioned, hey, why did you come to my well? Because this is my world, I am living with it. My water, my boundary, I have everything. Hey, where have you come? I have come from. তুমি বসু না কাইকি আরে যে এই তুমি বস ଟିକେ মানে এটা କ'ଣ তুমি ଗୋଟେ ଜାଗାରେ ବସିବ ନା ଆଉ why don't you sit? ବସିଲେ ଗୋଟେ ଜାଗାରେ ଯେତେବେଳେ ଆମେ ଶିଖିବା ନା ଆଉ ତମେ you have to sit silently. If you are not interested, then you can go and just after let's. ନା ନା ଯେଉଁ ପିଲା ଫୋନ୍ ମନେକର ଗୋଟେ ନାଇଁ ନାଇଁ କ୍ଷୀରାପ ଦିଏ ଆଇ ଡୋଣ୍ଟ ଯେଉଁ ପିଲାଟା ମନେକର ଫୋନ୍ ବାହାର କରୁଛି ତାକୁ ନେଇକି ଫୋପାଡ଼ି ଦେବ ସିଆଡ଼କୁ ଆଉ କ'ଣ ସେ ପିଲାକୁ ଫୋନ୍କୁ ଫୋପାଡ଼ି ଦେବ ଆଉ ଗଲା ସେଇ ହିସାବ ମାନେ ଆମର ଗୋଟେ ପ୍ରିନ୍ସିପଲ୍ ରଖିଲେ ଫୋନ୍ଟା ସୁଇଚ୍ ହେବ ଯେଉଁ ପିଲାଟା ମନେକର ଫୋନ୍ ୟୁଜ୍ କରୁଛି ସେଟାକୁ ନେଇକି ବାହାରକୁ ଫୋପାଡ଼ି ଦେବ ଆଉ କ'ଣ. One point I can tell you, you will grow with your own principle. If you deviate from the principle that has been designed by your senior brothers and sisters, that is not harmful to you for our institution. You will grow from this institution with a long 4-year stay. Suppose if you inculcate these kinds of practices from these dates, so these kinds of practice will linger and will go on, will carry. You will not have a very pleasant experiences from our college rather than harmful experiences. Your senior brothers and sisters, they are working day and night in order to organize this. So they are worried anyone has any phone, anyone is just secretly, consciously, unconsciously tapping the screen and discussing with some other discussions which is not relevant to our discussion, which is not relevant to this atmosphere. So naturally this is the principle which has been designed by your brothers. You are senior, super senior brothers and sisters. So you should check it. That doesn't mean they will check you just like they cannot guide you just like very actively and from one student to another student. So naturally you have to check yourself, we have to see that you are right. That point I am telling. Listen, what I was telling, he objected it regarding the entry of another frog into the well. He was not happy, he became intolerable because I am living with this water, another frog will come, will just pollute the water, will contaminate the water. So the serenity and of the water will be lost. So how do we dare to come into my well? What are you talking? You are living in the well. But I have come to see. Now, what is the size and shape of your sea? What nonsense are you talking? Yeah, you are comparing well with a sea. My sea is very big. But you are living in the narrow well with some of the waters. But if you go to my sea, you can see that large deep of water, waves of water, and it will embrace water, people, everything. You cannot get any kinds of crisis of water. Sometimes your well and water of the well is dried. You are living struggling for survival. But my sea, very big. You cannot feel that kind of shortage and that kinds of problems. So, can you take me to the sea? Yes, you can come to me. Just I have come to invite you. Why are you worried? Why are you questioning me regarding my sea? by the size and shape of the sea. So that's why by this way, he told that Hinduism is just like a sea. It will shelter all the religions. It will embrace all the religion. It has everything. That's why I can tell you, your Hinduism is the mother of all religions. That was a philosophy which he propagated there in the form of story. But other things are there. If you understand the Chicago speech of Swamiji is quite interesting. Hinduism, the mother of religion. Why do we disagree? His initial address and acceptance. With these kinds of address, brothers and sisters, my dearest brothers and sisters, you can see, even if you have come from different countries, even if you have come from different religions, countries representing different religions, all the religions lead to this one path. That we can understand the eternality, eternal bliss in the teachings of Swami Vivekananda. So these are the various lessons that you get from Swamiji's character and personality. So now I can tell you what are the interesting questions. Oh.
Good morning, sir. I am Shruti from CSE branch fresher. Sir, we all know Swami Vivekananda is a great personality, always have been, and we can learn a lot of things from him. Sir, I want to know what is your personal experience? How did it change your life?
Mine.
Yes, sir. I want to know that.
As your friend Swati has asked a very interesting question to me, personally speaking, I am the follower of the Swamiji's culture, philosophy, but some of the situations I have faced, which was connected to the teachings and life of or career of Swamiji. Because Swamiji, some of the problems, this questioning, this eternal conflict, these are the philosophies. This eternal conflict, this I can tell you, this spiritual bliss. I can tell you, you can grow in this in our college as the best student in future, and if that is possible, this teaching will be quite helpful. This one, our teachings and trainings, or I can tell you this kinds of inspiration will help you later. But one point to tell you very strictly and strongly, that be a human being just like a person with a practicality, with a practical sense and understanding. Same problems that I have faced as personally as Swati, a student of computer science, newly admitted, you can tell. So I cannot tell that Swamiji's personal life is very much connected to your personal life. This question is quite interesting and very intelligent, I can tell you. I can address this question differently to our students who are the new to their color and shapes. They will have a new dimension to their personality. Your personal experience is quite relevant to Swamiji's personal experience. That doesn't mean my personal, though I have read and followed some of the instructions, some of the teachings of Swamiji's, you can also follow. I am not telling you to follow, but you can see, after understanding and with a reasonable sense of understanding, you can see that this is the same experience that I have and Swamiji's was following. No differences are there. Noreen was a small boy like you. Noreen was a small student like you. Same, he has admitted at a college, Scottish college, professor history, like all of the professors who will guide you and will teach you. But same problems that you can face is quite similar to the problems faced by Swamiji. But he became an eternal figure, a spiritual leader because of his own strength, because of his own industry, because of his own, I can tell you, because of his own effort, endeavor, his sincerity, his devotion. He was quite devoted to the disciple. And some of the situations I have read from Swamiji's character, when at last moment, when he was participating all kinds of intellectual and spiritual discussions, he was just sitting like a small child. And he was quite obedient. Not, I can tell you not obedient, but he was just like another soul, another part of this, Ramakrishna's personality. That's why when Ramakrishna died, he told to Naren, come Naren and sit with me. I am passing, but a responsibility I am giving you, a top responsibility, you just take care of other disciples. But another thing, as she has told, he was not happy with the poverty of India. Why is Swamiji great? Why is Swamiji the outstanding? Why do you understand the Swamiji's philosophy, the best philosophy? Because whenever he visited as a wandering monk from one country, not country, in all these states, he was not happy to the poor and poverty, the situations of poverty of all the Indians. He was deeply realizing it. He was meditating to give. And some of these situations, though he had brought something, and whenever he was looking a poor man begging, not with a deep starvation, he was giving everything. Some days and he was also in starvation. So these are the various teachings of Swamiji. He was looking the poverty of India deeply, realizing it, meditating it, and then he was trying to get a best solutions. Any question?
Sir, I want to request you to just tell the book You Can Win by Shiv Khera to suggest my juniors.
Very good. Our senior students, they are not like your brothers and sisters. Who are they? They are the Ramakrishnan. Okay? I forgot. Samya from computer science, he requested to declare some of the books. See, some of the life transformation books are there, which can transform your life with these kinds of reading. With this 4 years stay of your technical expertise and knowledge that you will gain, as Soumya has rightly tell, some of the writers I can tell you to start reading and just to see what is there. Apart from your technical knowledge and skills that you are going to accumulate it, just to make it, just to open a bank account and to add it. The money that you are best, you are financially strong. The knowledge that you have with your banks, the bank of knowledge, then you are grown with the fruits and flavor. But one point I can also very happy to guide you by this way. Suppose APJ Abdul Kalam, he has written a book like Wings of Fire. This is not a book meant for the technical, non-technical, all other books for humanity. Books for humanity. We should read. Suppose another book I can tell you, other books are there. Suppose you can, Amish Tripathi, Shiva Trilogy, Shiva Trilogy. These are the interesting books, and the books like the writers like your, suppose Nikhilananda Saraswati. He has written a book on the teachings of Swamiji, not the life and career of Swamiji, but teachings of Swamiji. Nikhilananda Saraswati, he has written, because one point why I am telling, when Swamiji went to attend the Parliament of Religion, just one point, he prayed Ma Saraswati, Lord, I can Goddess Saraswati first, and then addressed. So that's why Nikhilananda Saraswati has written a very interesting book on yoga teachings of Swami Vivekananda. Yoga teachings of Swami Vivekananda. This is a life transformation books. It will really transform your life. You will not be involved and indulged with all kinds of trivial aspects of life. You will see life brightly, with its brightness, with its radiance, with its bliss, with its spirituality, with its all dimensional, with all its dimensional. These lives, because of your busy academic schedule, after this program comes to an end, you will directly went or you will go to different classrooms. You will face new teachers. But I can tell you and inspire you some of the interesting books that you can select. I cannot tell you, these are the just minor selections. You can select and you can reject. That depends of yours. That academic freedom you have. Any book that you like best, be the part and parcel of the book. Read it whole and feel the writer's comments and instructions deeply. As a result, you can see something essence is coming out. Some solutions are coming out. And you are more sensitive, I can sensitize to the reading process, to the reading thoughts. କେତେଟା ସରିବ ଅଭିପ ସାର୍ ଅଭିପ ସାର୍ କେତେଟା ସରିବ ସରିବ କେତେଟା ସରିବ 11 one question, just one, last question. Last but not least. Yes or no, Somyo? Last but not least. Thank you. I am quite indebted to your seniors who have arranged this kinds of platform for you to train you, and I am happy with my students who gave me an opportunity to speak and try to better.
Thank you so much, sir, for such an illuminating session. We hope our students will inculcate these thoughts in their future.
Maintain silence. Maintain silence guys. जो मनकर बाहर काम अच्छी टिके परमिशन नहीं कि जाओ एमती उठी कि सब बैक गेट पाकर गहली करेनी Guys, maintain silence, please.
Please keep the decorum of the room.
और जो मनकर फोन सीज सेशन बेले आ दिया जीवनी Keep quiet.
हेलो हेलो जार स्कॉलरशिप बाहर को जीवार अच्छी है कि सेठी गोटे पेपर रे साइन होउची से पेपरटा अच्छी सेठी साइन करिवो देन जीवो अंडरस्टूड
Keep quiet. The next session is going to begin. स्कॉलरशिप पे जो मैंने जीवा सेठी भी अटेंडेंस वेरीफाई कर जीवा तो कहीं भी एमती उठिकी जाओनी जो मान को काम नहीं आसिकी सीट रे बस गोटे लाइन बने कि विद डिसिप्लिन जाओ.
Please settle down, guys.
पहले सब बैठ जाओ. हम अनाउंस करेंगे किस किस को जाना है, फिर जाना. सब कोई बैठ जाओ पहले. एक साथ सब कोई नहीं जाएगा. पहले 10 जन जाएंगे, फिर वो वापस आने के बाद ही और 10 जाएंगे. अभी पहले सब बैठ जाओ. ब्रांच वाइज कर दे विकी. मेकानिकल 10 जन जीवा कोई भी.
10 ଜଣ ଯାଉଛନ୍ତି, 10 ଜଣ ସିଗ୍ନେଚର ହେଲେ ଏବେ ଗଲେ, ସେମାନେ ଆସିଲା ପରେ ଆଉ 10 ନେକ୍ସଟ ଏକା ସାଥ ହୋଇଯିବ.
फर्स्ट 10 जन अभी गए हैं सिग्नेचर करके, वो आने के बाद ही नेक्स्ट 10 जन जाएंगे. तब तक मेंटेन साइलेंस प्लीज. हाउ मेनी टाइम्स यू हैव टू रिपीट?
ଯେଉଁମାନେ ଏବେ ଚିଲେଇବେ ତାଙ୍କୁ ଆଟେଣ୍ଡାନ୍ସ କାଟିଦେବେ, ସରିଲା ଏସବୁ ଚୁପ.
मेंटेन साइलेंस. जो भी डिसिप्लिन मेंटेन नहीं करेगा विल कट हिज और हर अटेंडेंस. एंड वी आर वेरी सीरियस अबाउट इट. So, the next session is about resume. As you are going to enter into a professional field, you all should know about this. A resume is a vital role in a job search since it provides you with a page or two to highlight your best and most relevant abilities and attributes.
Your resume communicates your qualification and your brand, who you are and what makes you different to the employer and recruiters. Ultimately, the purpose of the strategically targeted polished resume is to get you an interview.
So for this session, I would like to invite Dr. Manisha Chotra ma'am to make you all understand better about what a right resume is.
Ma'am, please.
A very good afternoon to everyone. I am Dr. Manisha Chotrai, Assistant Professor of English from the Department of Humanities and Social Sciences, Pala Maharaja Engineering College. Okay, so at the outset, I would like to begin with a small, small thing. When I entered into the room, I found your seniors kind of almost pissed off with you, right? And I'm pretty sure you have given them enough reasons to be so. Because last year I was handling this, so I know what happens. But I want all of you to remember just one thing: who you are. Right? Who you are. You know, as a crowd, you may lose your identity, but you must remember you represent here your city, your village, your school, your college, your family, and yourself. So behave accordingly. You may take the advantage of such a big crowd. You may complain that you are having hectic schedules, but that should not, make you deviate from your own character. Don't go with the crowd or with the mob. You are not that. What you are doing, whistling, clapping, loudly clapping, that's not you. Somewhere you are taking the advantage of a big crowd. So don't do that. Wherever you go, remember you are a representative. Your behavior, the way you walk, the way you talk, everything speaks volumes about your background. Within seconds, I will or he will or she will judge you. He must have not been to a good school, good college, family, everything comes. Same is true for you. Next year, next to next year, you'll be right here. So the roles are going to reverse. Okay? And you will be judging your juniors on the basis of that. So avoid doing that. Don't go with the crowd. You have, ample opportunities to do all sorts of mischiefs. But remember, you are representing your background. So behave accordingly. I know sometimes it gets monotonous, sometimes you get tired, you're hungry. Reasons are there. But that doesn't, give you the license to misbehave or ill-treat or, act or react in a manner which will not be appreciated by others. So keep that in your mind. Okay? Yes. Now coming to today's topic. So definitely, I'll be talking about something which usually you get at the end of your career, right? In 4th year, resume. So I know your seniors must be wondering, why is ma'am talking about resume to first year, first semester induction program students? Isn't it? Okay. So during my lectures, I think I have one today and tomorrow I have another, right? I would justify why. So during these 2 lectures, I'm going to break a barrier that I'll be doing it today and show you or give you a map to follow. So why resume in the first semester? Right? A document which you usually require or you need at the end of your academic career. Right? Why we will be talking about it at the outset only. Gradually, I'll justify. Okay? So let us start, let us have some kind of interaction. I need to calm down. Okay. So can anyone tell me about the previous session? Who would like to tell us something about the previous session? Yeah. Paivani? Okay, fine. This. Here. Okay. Up to this? Okay, take it. Right. Who can? Yeah.
Good morning, ma'am. My name is Shruti from CSE, first year. Ma'am, the previous session was about Swami Vivekananda and his life, about his life and his philosophy, his teaching. And sir gave a detailed information about his certain events of his life that can inspire people and can motivate them, etc.
Okay, thank you, Shruti, right? Thank you, Shruti. I have one more question. Who would like to tell us something about the college that you last attended? Who would like to tell us about his or her college? Aren't you happy with your previous college? Very happy? So who would like to? Yeah.
Good morning, ma'am. Myself Subham Naik from CSE branch, and I am belong from Bargad Vikas Residential School, and the college from which I have passed my 12th class. The college, I will tell that college is a wonderful college. That there is a system of by ranking them, and there is a system of college means hostel separation. The food is almost good, and the teachers were almost very cooperative, and their teachers was very well. But there are also some there are also some time differences and the time schedules which can make some awkward. But overall the college is good.
Thank you. Thank you. What's your name?
Subham.
Shubham. Thank you, Shubham. Okay. Someone who would like to talk about his favorite food. Come on, all of you take food, isn't it? I do, at least. And you have your favorites in your Swiggy and Zomato pre-ordered, right? List. Yes, anybody from back, please feel involved. Because of technical reasons, I'm not able to reach out. But you are with us, right? Anyone who would like to talk about his or her favorite food? From the back. Maybe it is making you more and more hungry, I guess, as you're approaching your lunchtime. Yes.
Good morning, ma'am. My name is Swati, Saraswati D from CSE branch, from first year. My favorite food is, it's almost about chicken only, like chili chicken, chicken biryani, and many more varieties. I just love it as we don't have much of bones, like if we take boneless chickens, we don't have to work hard to eat also. Thank you.
Your lazy comfort food. Okay, yes. Anyone who would like to talk about the place he or she comes from, town, village, whatever, city? Yes, very good. Can you come. Okay. Can you range can you? No, interference of speaker and sound. Oh, right.
Good morning, ma'am. I'm Suprasha Sahu. I'm from Chhatrapur. I'm electrical engineering fresher student. So, ma'am, I'm from Chhatrapur, and it is the capital of Ganjam. It is also the subdivision of Ganjam. Our honorable collector will also, the collector bungalow is also in Chhatrapur. So, yeah, ma'am.
District headquarters,
Yes,
right?
ma'am.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, so when this response generation was happening, how many of you felt like answering and did not answer? Just raise your hand. Be open. How many of you almost felt like, had the temptation that, yes, I want to say, right? Many. Many of you felt like answering but did not, right? Many of you felt like answering, but you did not because you are not comfortable in the language. Please raise your hands. Because you are not comfortable communicating in English, how many of you chose not to speak? Do you encounter similar situations very often where because of your certain inadequacy in the language, or not having a proficiency in the language, you choose not to communicate, particularly in a spoken context? You agree with me or not? Okay? So language acts as a barrier, isn't it? Language acts as a barrier, and if I right now ask you what is your weakness, many of you would respond communicative skills in English. Am I correct? Communicative skills in English, right? But what about your communicative skills in your mother tongue? Is it really better or worse? So you have become trilingual. You are trying all languages. Right? You claim that you speak 3 languages, Hindi, English, Oriya. Whatever your mother tongue is, 3. But you are trying all the languages, isn't it? So it's not TRI, it's TRY. You're trying the languages, but you haven't reached anywhere. Okay? So today, I would like to break that barrier. So first of all, the most important thing is communication. It's not about in any language or not about just a particular language. Definitely, as far as communication is concerned, in professional, informal situation, English is important and will continue to be. Why? We will discuss that. Okay, it is not just that we are biased towards something or like that. Why? We would discuss. But what about your mother tongue? Because the most important thing is expression, communicating your thoughts, your ideas, your beliefs. Opening up, feeling confident or positive about the thoughts, the ideas that you have and speaking it out. Many of you are more comfortable with writing, but when it comes to speaking, you hesitate. Okay? So, first of all, the most important thing is communication. Are you communicating actually? If you keep aside the informal situations, day-to-day need basis, talking to friends, family, do you communicate? Do you express your thoughts, your ideas? You don't feel encouraged. Not even to express in your mother tongue, isn't it? Right? So, you need to develop a love for language. Maybe you have never given a thought to it, because without language, you are incomplete. We are all human, social beings. We cannot exist without communicating or communication. Sharing ideas, thoughts, belief. So, number 1 is communication is very, very important. So, you can start communicating your ideas, your thoughts with the language in which you are most comfortable, mother tongue. Right? So, it is not that if you are not able to speak a particular language, you are inferior, someone is superior or something like that. It is not. Most important is expression of ideas. That is why, there is a huge transformation at the education department. Now books will be available to you, technical books will be available to you in your mother tongue. Right? So why are they doing it? Because language has been acting as a barrier. You go to South Korea, you go to China, right? Do they speak English? They do not, right? But in terms of innovation, in terms of development, in terms of ideas and all, they are far, far ahead. So they are not bothered about in which language they are communicating, right? Whatever language they are comfortable in, they are being provided all the facilities in that, and they are doing really great. Okay? So you need to, now that, see, this is a transition from general education to professional education. When you choose to get into an engineering, management or medicine or law, whatever, these are all professional fields. So far, you were in a general field. So there will be a transition. Okay? So at the beginning only, you need to prepare yourself. You have to be open from here to absorb as much as you can. Don't come with a rigid mindset. This is good, this is bad. No, I'm going to experience and explore everything. Be open from here. Gradually, naturally you will assimilate a lot, many things. Okay? So that is the most important thing, communicating, expressing thoughts and ideas. Next comes the language. right? So particularly today I'll be focusing on breaking this barrier, then only we can move on to resume. Okay, so spoken English, the language approach, right? Just help me with the slides. Yeah. So English is internationally accepted to be the link language or the language of global communication. All of you agree? Are you aware of it? It is the international language, the link language, or technically called the lingua franca, the common language, when it comes to global communication. Why? Can anyone give me a reason why? Because we admire the West. Absolutely. Very good. What's your name? Manish. Thank you for this vital information. Because the Britishers had, colonies almost in every part of the world. So this language had maximum, or people had maximum exposure to this language as a common language. So it is not about our admiration for the USA or the Europe. No. Right? Because there was a saying earlier, the sun never sets over British Empire. Why? How is it possible? Technically. Because they had colonies in some or other part of the world. So if the sun sets over here in India, somewhere else, it rises. Okay, so that was the reach of Britishers. And with them, they took the language. Right? From there evolved this American English. Because a couple of Europeans, they migrated to America. That is why there is a place in the USA, New England. Okay. So that is how then they came up with variations. Okay. Then Australia, for them, first language is English. We are the second language speakers of English. We are not the native speakers of English. Okay. We are the second language speakers. That is why our struggle is a bit more. Naturally, right? It would be. Okay, so yes, it is ranked as, communicative skills in English is ranked as the top global workplace skills. You Google search, okay, most desired professional skills and communication skills will pop up. And definitely in English. Because it is a common language. See, earlier businesses were confined to cities, states, or maybe countries. Now everything is global. Even if you are coming up with a small product, it is available on the, different websites. So people would reach out. So because of these business transactions and all, you require a common language. And here, language serves as the common medium, English language. That is why it ranks as the topmost workplace skills. Employers, companies look for people who are comfortable in speaking, reading, writing in English. Next is your key tool for professional growth. If it is ranking higher, then definitely it is a key tool for professional growth, because once you get into the company, your progress is decided by what? How you communicate with others, how you interact with others, seniors, juniors, doesn't matter, peer, okay? And definitely you'll be doing that mostly in English. Third one is cross-cultural communication. So when we are talking about workplaces are not, just, you don't find one culture only. Multicultural environment you find. So people from different states, different nationalities come together to work. So definitely you need or require English there. Next is your medium of instruction for all specialized education. The ones that I mentioned, all these were so far, right now we can say, so far available in English only. Okay? Then language for intra and interstate communication. What is intra? Within the state, right? Even take your example. In classroom, many of you prefer to speak in English, right? So that is intra, within the state, right? Because there is so much exposure to English, we have become more and more comfortable in speaking in English rather than our mother tongue. We may be sharing the same language or the mother tongue. But when it comes to formal or maybe informal communication, we are preferring what? Or we do prefer English. So intra. What about interstate? Definitely north, east, west, south, so much diversity if we talk about our country only. There is so much of diversity and you are not supposed to or you cannot learn all the languages. So you go for a common language. Okay, next please. Right. One more thing, one more myth I'm going to burst today. English is not a foreign language for us. Do not give the excuse that it's a foreign language, so I could not master it or I cannot master it. Right? We were ruled for almost 200 years by the Britishers. So we cannot say that English is a foreign language. Chinese, French, Spanish, those are foreign languages for us. Right? Because we had minimum or almost no exposure to these languages unless you are interested to study it. But English, it was around us. It has been around us for almost good 200 or more than 200 years. So English is not a foreign language. It has already been in our curriculum. Then what went wrong? What went wrong? Why till today students or our young generation still struggling to express themselves in English? We have been reading, and all of you have, you have passed examinations in English subject. Many of you with really good percentage, score. But when it comes to speaking, what happens? Okay, so it was not available for us in our natural environment. Okay, if you are born outside, if you are born in the USA or in the Europe, you will be speaking fluent English, and the same is true for them as well, right? And think of this biased behavior, right? If you find a foreigner speaking in that Khandi Odia, you appreciate. She is speaking with a Italian accent, American accent, right? Odia re jodi kete kahi dala ask kare, then you laugh at them, right? So that is the flavor. Each and everyone carries that flavor with him or her. Okay, so that flavor will be there. Some regional interference will be there. But you need to try to minimize it as much as possible. If I start speaking English in completely Odia accent, then it won't sound English anymore. Okay, yes, you wanted to say something? Yes, the problems that you face. Let us talk about reality. Yes. Okay. So does that really work, translating in mind?
Yes, ma'am. Actually, what I face, so many people face, I know.
So that takes, you're not very prompt in translating that.
No, ma'am.
Then?
Translating that is easy. After translating, expressing that is hard.
Okay.
Whatever you have asked one question to me or anyone else, so after listening, I will translate it into Hindi.
Okay. So you're decoding it.
Yes, ma'am. Then I will answer it in Odia.
Okay. Then you will encode it in English so that you find problem in that encoding. Right. So I got it. Okay. Right. So we will be looking at that. So the basic, yeah, Abhipsha.
Ma'am, actually what happens when we are thinking in Odia and speaking Odia, we speak fluent Odia. But when a language barrier comes, for example, English isn't our mother tongue. But to speak English, we have to think in Odia, then translate it, and then put vocabulary, and then speak in English. That process confusion. Yeah, things are lost. So to speak fluent English, what I think is we need to start thinking in English first.
Okay, so the whole problem is we need to think about language acquisition and language learning. When it comes to our mother tongue, we acquire the language. But when it comes to the second language, we are learning the language. So what is the difference? All of us, we say that, we are learning the language, but your mother tongue, you do not learn it. You acquire it. The moment you are born, you are exposed to the sounds of your mother tongue. First of all, the sounds. Then you start identifying the words. Okay, so gradually through this exposure, you acquire your mother tongue. So acquisition of first language. So I would like to believe majority of you are Odia, having Odia as a mother tongue. Okay, anyone else who has Telugu or maybe Hindi as mother tongue? Okay, what is it? Hindi? Hindi, right. Okay. So did you follow any grammar book? When you were an infant, your parents gave you some grammar book. Okay, did you go to, spoken Hindi classes? No, of course not, right? But you do speak, I believe, fluent Hindi? Yeah. Right? So here is acquisition of first language. So you acquire it. But coming to language learning, learning second language or language English language. Okay? So you learn it, the perspective, right? So the first one is a subconscious process. It is a natural, very subconscious process. The child, the infant is not aware that I am learning a language. I am learning a classical language, right? Even if you are learning English as an infant, you don't know that you are learning the global language or lingua franca. So at the subconscious level, these go on. But coming to learning English, it is a conscious process. You get conscious, right? You get conscious. You try to consciously acquire it. There comes the problem, right? Acquired through how your first language or your mother tongue is acquired. It is acquired through imitation, repetition, and feedback. Right? As a child, what do? You just imitate. Then you repeat it after. Right? Whatever your parents say, small words, then short sentences, phrases, you repeat after them. Right? Then what happens? Feedback. You get immediate feedback. Because experts are around you. Yes or no? There are experts. Even if there is an illiterate person, let's say a shopkeeper, if you say a Odia word, wrong word, then they would immediately correct you. The domestic help that comes to your house, he or she is even an expert in Odia. So he or she will immediately interrupt you. Your mother, your grandparents, everyone around you are language experts as far as spoken Odia or Hindi or Bengali, Telugu, whatever is concerned. So you get immediate feedback, right? But what happens here? Direct instruction in rules of language. How your learning in English started. Instructions, grammar and all. Okay? The more formal way. Next, almost you are not aware of grammatical rules of your mother tongue. But you know, you speak correct sentences. But you cannot justify the grammatical rule of it, right? Later on, maybe you can do that, but as long as you are a child or a kid, you may not be able to do that, okay? But here, emphasis is more on grammatical rules, okay? Second language learners, particularly who are from regional medium schools, the emphasis is more on grammar or not. They do score really well in grammar as well, right? But when it comes to speaking, they face problem. Even when it comes to writing, simple, spontaneous things, they face problems. So emphasis is more in L2 learning or language 2 learning, emphasis is more on grammatical rules. Okay? Then, another very important aspect of language. Language is not just about, words and grammar. It is much more. Lot, beyond that. There is a whole cultural context. There is an essence of language that goes missing from your L2 or from your English learning, which is very much found in your mother tongue. You have not just imitated people. You know the context, you know the setting. You have acquired the essence of your mother tongue. But language learning in English is very mechanical, right? Because the culture is foreign to us, right? Maybe we have exposure to it, but again, there are nuances, minor details that makes a culture, a language special. That is missing from most of the L2 learners. Okay? Let us move on to the next. Yes. Right? As far as school curriculum is concerned, you had English as a subject, not as a language. This is a major issue. Right? You were learning a language as a subject. You had always in mind how many subjects you had? This, and English. But it was never a subject. Because what is a subject approach? Like history or like geography, you by heart things, mug up things, reproduce the same. But language doesn't happen like that. Language is, multidimensional. Okay? So, at the beginning itself, you were told that you had to have these many subjects. Let's say, in whatever class you were. Okay? So, with a subject mindset, all the time you were under the impression that you are learning English the subject. Nobody bothered to tell you that no, it is not a subject, rather it's a language. You could never make the head and tail of it why you are learning a different, separate altogether grammar book. Okay? And particularly even in ICSE medium, you have huge grammar books and all that. Okay? But how many of you are actually clear that after learning or I'm doing all these to acquire a different language? No. The purpose was scoring good marks, as it is true for rest of the subjects. Okay? So the subject approach and the language approach. Right? So introduced to L2 learners always as a subject. Okay, so this mugging up words, rules of grammar, isn't it? You just by heart. When the exams are ahead, you by heart the grammar rules. Then you are introduced to the deviations of the rules, right? Then you complain. So English grammar has so many rules and double the deviations. This is this, but if, in case, okay, so you fall flat there. Okay, so this subject approach towards language is a major drawback. You need to understand that like other languages spoken around, it is also a language. Okay, so what happens? English speaking skills becomes an unachievable dream for us. How many of you relate to this point? English speaking skills and unachievable. I may not be able to do it ever. Does that come to you? Yes or no? No? If no, very good. If no, then very good. Okay, but for majority of students, this is true. Those who do not get that exposure, those who may not have been to schools or colleges which gave them environment, right? They are very good, excellent students, but their confidence level is very low because for them, communicating in English is a dream. Okay, next. Okay, so we were talking about this inadequacy to speak in English. What are the reasons? First of all, limited vocabulary. Right? As Abhipsha was telling, okay, that process is delayed, that process is very long. Why? Because you enjoy a strong vocabulary in your mother tongue, but you don't have that in the target language or L2. Yes or no? What is vocabulary? Word power. How many words you know in your mother tongue and how many words you know in English? So how would you do this translation? It don't happen. Right? Because thoughts, emotions or ideas are, huge. So many of them are there. But in order to translate it, convert it into the target language and express it, you have very limited words. right? Okay, to get it more clear, there are words in English like sobbing, weeping, crying. How many of you are aware of it? That English vocabulary has these many words for the act of crying. Okay. How many of you, very few of you use it? When to use sob, when to use weeping, crying loudly, right? So, what do? You end up saying, was crying slowly, crying loudly, crying very, very loudly. You do that or not? You try to find the nearest possible, word to translate and do that. Because you are not aware that English vocabulary offers you so many ranges of words. Okay, so it is not, I'm not trying to say that English is a very rich language. Definitely it is rich. But in Odia also that happens. Okay, in Odia also you have bhatta, kanika, what? Pakhala. No. What are the words for? Varieties of dishes made from rice. Okay, palav, khichdi, right? But if you compare it with English vocabulary, they have, no, not jeera rice, okay? I'm talking about Odia language, Odia cuisine. Jeera rice is not part of Odia cuisine, nor is your fried rice, okay? So, how many words are there in English for rice? Rice, boiled rice, steamed rice. It is rice. Why so? Yes, they don't have a word for it. Because rice is not the staple food of the Europeans. Only when a particular food has cultural importance, then only you will find its variations. Because ours is a primarily agricultural state. Right? So we depended more on rice than on bread and anything else. And the climatic condition also allowed us to take pakhala. They cannot take it over there. Right? That is why we have variations. And the rich temple culture, there are different types of rice is offered to the deity. So that comes down to the general public as well. So there is history, there is culture related to the language. Each and every word that you speak has a history behind it. Okay? So no language is rich or no language is poor. I believe all languages, whatever language, because I don't speak or I don't know, doesn't mean that it is poor. Okay, so you need to understand. I clarified it because I don't want you to feel that, English is a poor language, right? They have varieties of bread, which we do not have. We have only one bread. Okay, either it is sweet or it is simple, right? Because bread is important for their climatic conditions allow them to have or consume bread. So definitely they will be making experiments with it. They will be having variety. Okay, so your vocabulary, your language is conditioned by your culture, your background and whole lot of things. Okay? Yes, so this is vocabulary. When it comes to mother tongue, you feel rich. Isn't it? Right? And when it comes to second language, broke. Right? You feel so poor. Because less number of words. So you need to increase that vocabulary. Next is use of less appropriate words. As I was talking about, words which are not exact. All the time you cannot translate. You cannot find a substitute for it in the other language. Okay? Like there is a word in Odia, Abhimana. Abhiman janicho? Ragi ki, Rusi ki, teenagers are very much acquainted with it. Okay? Can you give me an English alternative for it? Egoistic. Ki koi letter? No. Greed? No. No. Pride is garba. Mad? Mad is angry. Abhiman. Ragiba is angry. Mad. Self-esteem. No, grudge is, being revengeful. No, arrogance is, say, garba. not arrogance. Like, see, gharku dita, father gets home, 2 chocolates, give both the chocolates to your sibling. Tame kon ragi ki pade dabo? Huh? What is your reaction? Ragibo, right? You are right. Tame ragibo papanko upare, but exactly tame ragi na, that you are not mad at him. Tamku kharap lagila, kaiki na? Not gloomy. Gloomy is sad. Pride nuha, garba. Are you trying to catch the sense? Bapa dita chocolate anle, bhai ko ba bhoni ko de dele. Right? Tame, what you felt? You experienced rago. Right? And then you start crying. As a kid, you cried. Not jealousy. You are not jealous. No. Tame ragilo, kahinki na? Tame bhi tanko chua. Se kemti bhai ko ba bhoni ko dita de dele. So tame actually abhiman kala. Right? So that is abhiman. How would you find a substitute of it? Right? Downhearted? I don't know. I have been searching for it. Okay, I would try to see if it is closest to it. Okay, so this is the struggle. There are words, there are emotions which are there in a particular language. You cannot translate everything. Direct translation is not possible. Okay, so you need to understand the essence of language, and sometimes you would fail to find a substitute for it. Okay, then lack of speaking opportunities. This is a major problem. In a class of 60, 70 students, right, in your school or in your college, how many opportunities you found for speaking in English? Very limited, right? Had it been a class of 30 or 25, teachers would have forced you to speak, to answer. But we cannot afford it, having, except some big schools. Most of the schools did not give you ample opportunities to speak in the language, L2. Okay? Next is unfamiliarity with the sound system of target language. Here comes your mother tongue interference. Kahinki most of the Odiyas, when they speak, the English sounds as Odia. Whenever you are targeting a particular language, remember, the sound system is mostly different. Similarities will be there, but there are, minor differences. That's why South Indians, when they speak English, it sounds like Telugu. It sounds like Tamil. It may be grammatically correct. It may be the best phrases they have, the best sentences they have made, but it sounds like Telugu. It sounds like Bengali. Or maybe it may sound like Spanish or like French, because you are familiar with the sounds of your mother tongue, but not the sounds of the target language. So what you are doing? You are making sentences, speaking them using sounds of your mother tongue. Like V-E-R-Y. Okay? Bheri. Why? Because bha is very prominent in your Odia sound system. Bhata, bhai, bharata. Okay? So you are more familiar with the bha. So when you found V-E-R-Y, you say bheri. But it is very. Va. Bha sound is not there in English. Va is there. Okay? So lack of familiarity with the sounds. Mockery of the English medium counterparts. This is a problem faced by regional medium school students. Right? When they speak with speak in a broken English, or maybe English with an Odia accent, or maybe a regional accent, others, their counterparts, who had more advantageous position as far as learning was concerned. So they do not understand that we learned because we got the opportunity. If someone is not able to do, it doesn't mean that they are inferior. They had less of opportunities. Okay? Then low self-confidence, fear and hesitation. So this results in, as I was talking about, many of you want to express, but you choose not to. Yes? Can we move on to the next? You sit there better. Fine, it would be fine. Pull a chair and sit there. Okay. Yes. So LSRW skill, I'll quickly sum up. Okay. So whenever you are targeting a particular language, remember you need to acquire listening, speaking, reading, writing skills. These 4 skills you require to be comfortable in any language. And sadly, as far as English is concerned, listening has been a much ignored skill. There are spoken English classes, but not listening classes. Right? So what happens? Listening, speaking, reading, writing. The more you read, the better you write. The more you listen, the better you speak. So, the better you receive, the better you produce. Okay? So, your receptive skills need to be worked on if you want to improve your productive skills. So, speaking and writing are productive skills. If you want to improve your writing and speaking, you need to read better, listen better. Listen to good content. Okay, communication skills understood as proficiency in speaking only. Right? How would you acquire good speaking skills if you are not listening to good English? Then significance of listening, right, is very important. Most acquisition takes place through observation of sounds, pronunciation and intonation. Mother tongue learning is easier because it happens through these. So if you adopt a similar approach, even you can acquire English. Next is, it is a receptive skill. Okay? So receptive skill. Listening is a receptive skill. If you receive better, you will be able to speak better. Next. Okay? Speaking is the much dreaded skill. Unless and until you are forced, right? 60% of you would never come over here to speak in English or even stand at your respective places to speak. So we have a lot of fear, hesitation as far as speaking is concerned. Okay? Language proficiency and communication skill. You need to understand that only by improving LSRW, you will be able to get that proficiency in language. Okay? Absence of loud reading. Do you remember when you last read aloud? Nursery, standard 1 or standard 2. After that, you are asked to hush down. Why? You're making too much of noise, of course. That is true, right? But after that, you have been doing silent reading. Silent reading doesn't help in speaking. You are, as a child, as a kid, you are speaking better because every day you are doing twinkle, twinkle loudly, little star and all. Okay, so start practicing, adopting, loud reading. Read aloud a newspaper article. Read aloud your book because your mouth, your organs, speech organs have to be familiar with the sounds of what? Or pronouncing the words in English. So if you are doing mind reading, silent reading is mind reading. So your speech organs never get familiar with the pronunciation style. But your mother tongue pronunciation style is different. So if immediately you switch to English, you fumble. Okay, so loud reading is very important. Limited speaking opportunity, get hold of any speaking opportunity that you get. Next, unfamiliar sound system. Okay, of course we have discussed that. We will look at it in the next slide. Yeah, next. Okay, then again, English is a non-phonetic language or unphonetic language. Okay, what does it mean? If you look at the spelling of Odia words and their pronunciation, same. Bharata is Bharata, pronounced as Bharata only. Kataka, ka, ta, ka. Right? But when it comes to English, CALM is pronounced as calm. Okay? Then, night. KNIGST, night. Pneumonia. There is a difference between, there is no matching between the spelling and the pronunciation. That doesn't happen with most of the Indian languages derived from Sanskrit. Okay, you take Hindi or you take Odia or any other language. Are they unphonetic? They are very much phonetic. Jemiti lekhucha, semiti pronounce korucha. Okay, so there is no second thought, okay, how would I pronounce the word? But English is non-phonetic because much of it comes from Greek, then from French. French has silent words and all, Latin and all mixed together. Huge influence of other European languages. Okay, so it is a non-phonetic language. Next. Okay, sounds are typical to Odia language and are not found in, as I told you. Okay, the sound pha is used as fa, so fish is pronounced as fish. Odia re ko sound achi, pha achi, pa achi, pha achi. But this fa sound is not there. First, father, father. Because we have pha sound. But the pha sound is not there. It is fa. Okay? In phonetics, you will learn how these are exactly pronounced. So there is a replacing of sounds. Okay, next. Yes, there is inferiority complex among the L2 learners. Then even Odia or mother tongue speakers of English are discouraged from trying to speak in English in public or amongst peers. Again, you feel that people will laugh at my accent, right? So be comfortable with that. Try to minimize that. Okay, it's not that, you'll speak the way you want, right? There, and carry that flavor wherever you go. That speaks about your originality. Don't get lost. So carry. I believe, the most appreciated English is Indian English, right? Free from any kind of regional accents. Okay? Yes. Then older language learners care more about correctness than attempt. This happens. Okay? Older language learners, they focus more on, grammatical, you made this grammatical error. Fine. So it is okay. When you start learning a language, all the time you cannot go by books. You cannot go by rules. There will be small mistakes here and there. So that attempt should be appreciated so that the speaker, the learner feels encouraged. Okay? Adults lack the motivation as diverted because of their diverted interest. Okay? Adult learners becomes more difficult because they are into so many things. You feel that my chemistry is more important, my biology is more important rather than learning this language. But at the end of the day, you have to talk about that same chemistry, that same biology in English only. Okay? Next. Okay, this is the brief sound system of English. This is the barrier between your mother tongue and the second language proficiency. It is a IPA symbols. These are basically sounds. They are not letters. Okay? In phonetics, you will learn in detail. These are the sounds. Many are common sounds. Look at the yellow part, highlighted part. What is that? Pen. So it's p, b, t, d. Remember, these are sounds. These are not letters. When we talk about phonetics, you don't read them as letters. You read them as sounds. So P becomes P. Any word having P sound. Pen, paper, pot, okay, P sound. So P, B, T, D. Then that's a new sound, new symbol. That's for Ch. Okay. Then you have a Z. Then K. G is G. Then F, not P. F. Your upper teeth biting your lower lip. F. Okay. First. Famous. How do you say famous? Famous. Your upper teeth touching your lower lip. Okay? Famous. V. Then th. Think, through, thought. Next is the. Then comes sa. Then comes Z-O-O is zoo. It's a buzzing sound. Buzzing z. Yes. Okay? Busy. Busy, zoo. It is not Jew. Okay? Zoo. You will feel the vibration when you pronounce busy, zoo, zebra. Okay? So you feel the vibration. Then comes sha. S-H-O-E. Shu na su. Shu. So this is sha sound. Okay? We replace it with sa. Then a z. Z, slight touch of sh is there. Pleasure, measure, treasure. Right? Then ma sound you know. Ma, na. Next is ang sound. Ang, then ha, la, ra, ya. Okay, as you can see, many sounds are there in your mother tongue. Some tricky sounds are there if you just acquire like a sh or a f. So there will be a huge transformation in the way you speak. Your pronunciation will deeply impacted. And above you see, those are vowel sounds. Remember, these are consonant sounds. These are consonant sounds, those are vowel sounds. These are 24 in number, 24 consonant sounds, then 12 vowel sounds. They are a bit tricky. Okay, there are lots of varieties. Okay, like the first one is E, second is E. Ship, sheep. How you pronounce? You pronounce both as ship, ship. Okay, S-H-I-P, the S-H-I-P, ship. S-H-E-E-P, sheep. Harsoi dirghoi, it is there, but we don't apply that here. Right? So, those differences are there. O and oo. Food, shoe, food, shoe, good, food. Okay, like that. Then other sounds are there. Like A is a commonly misused sound. A. Okay, how you pronounce B-A-G? Bag. Okay, what we do? We replace that with A. Bag. It's bag. A sound. Okay, bag. Okay, how would you differentiate between B-E-D bed and B-A-D bad? Okay, so there are tricky places or sounds you need to learn. Okay, then there are diphthongs, two sounds, ear, oor, air, hair. Okay, poor. Then a, oi, I, ow, ow. Home and house. Home, last two ones. Home, it's H-O-M-E is not home. Home. But because of our convenience, we pronounce it as home. Okay? But originally it is home. Ow sound. It differs from house. Ow. So that's the vowel sound. So this you have to get familiar. You don't have to be experts in that. Just know that my mother tongue sound system is different and the target language sound system is different from it. Yes, next. Yes. So as far as speaking is concerned, the mantra for you is listen. Right? If you want to acquire good or develop your speaking skills, the mantra for you is to listen to good English and understand and observe. Try to do it the way you did acquire your mother tongue. So you may listen to what? News bulletins, movies with subtitles that you do, listen to music, okay? Stories, read aloud stories. And it would be better if you go for what? Audiobooks. Because they do come with pronunciations. Okay? And apart from that, interviews. It is not that you will listen to academics only. Whatever your area is, entertainment, sports, health, education, whatever it is. Right? Listen to celebrities giving interviews. Okay? Listen carefully. Do not watch them. Just listen. Right? So this listening will definitely help you develop your vocabulary, develop your sentence making skills and develop your pronunciation as well. Reading will also help. Definitely reading helps, but your pronunciations are not getting corrected if you are doing simply reading. Okay, again there will be mistakes in pronunciation, but if you go for audiobooks, then they would also correct your pronunciation. And remember, this doesn't happen overnight, but doesn't mean that it won't happen. So don't consciously read a book that I read it for 1 month and after that it's not coming. Miraculously you will find in a month or two when you are writing, those words would pop up in your mind and then you would know where it helped. If I consciously read one novel and feel that I'm not getting the words or vocabularies, it won't come naturally. It will be stored in your subconscious level. Consciously you cannot by heart a novel. you cannot by heart a content. Right? In a month or two, or maybe few of you may take 3 or 4 months, those words come in your writing. Those words would come in your speaking. Okay, so this is my simple tip for you in order to get this or remove this barrier of language. Any questions? If you have 1 or 2, we can take. I think it's time for your lunch. Yeah. Tomorrow we'll be meeting again anyway. Yes, come here, come.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Yeah, remove. Remove so that you will be audible properly. Yeah.
Good afternoon, ma'am. Myself, Sangram Bise from Electrical Branch. Ma'am, I am very much poor at English.
Okay.
So you said, na, ma'am, the word very. You should pronounce that very, not very. But in our childhood, what we have learned that like K-A, ko, K-H-A, kho, or like that B-H-A, bho, or V-A, bho. But how should we differentiate that the word very?
That sound system is there. That would help you. Okay? That sound system, once you go through it, you will learn that there is no bha sound in English. So that is called mother tongue interference or MTI, mother tongue influence. Right? When I get similar words or words which are close to my mother tongue, immediately, for my convenience, mutako bha kar debi. Right? Bheri. Oh, I know this. This is bheri. This is father. Okay? So that happens with everyone, not just you. So gradually, once, the problem is not with your entire all English. The problem is at certain places. So identify those places and take care of that. So gradually it will happen.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Listen to good English to remove that. Yeah, just a minute. Yeah.
Good morning, ma'am. Myself Rajat from CSC. Ma'am, to improve our English, from other suggestions we buy different English novel books or any English books apart from our general study books. But due to the vocabulary, we don't understand some meanings of those words.
Doesn't matter. Nobody understands the entire novel. You need to just absorb the sense. Word by word, do not think that you will need, novels are not read like that. Some words you skip by the time you come to the third, fourth, fifth sentence, you know what that word means. You'll be able to guess. Okay? So don't think that you will take a dictionary and a book and simultaneously read and improve your language. It doesn't happen. Skip it. If you don't understand a word, leave it there. As you progress, you'll be able to know what happened in that chapter. Okay, don't take it seriously. That's what I'm saying. Don't make a conscious effort to, grab a language. It is not mathematical formula. By hook or by crook, I'll remember it and I'll apply it and I'll get the answer. Yeah.
Ma'am, we have different forms of English. Like in US, we have different form, in British form and Australian form. Okay. So which one should we follow? Because all of them pronounce words differently.
Yeah.
So in India also, we have our form of English. So
those are dialects of English.
So we get confused because of different forms.
Original is the British English, right? Okay. The RP, received pronunciation. Because ours is close to British, so you better follow British. Unless and until you have plans to go and settle in the US or maybe Australia, go for that. American English you do come across because the softwares are all US, so you get, online internet language is US mostly. But our pronunciation, our English is closest to British. So go for British.
Thank you, ma'am.
One more question, yes? Okay, then let's break for, I think it's lunchtime. Thank you.
You will have some refreshments.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for such an informative session. These information will surely help and guide our students in their near future.
जो मन को फोन सीज इतले आगू आसलो साइलेंटली बसिले लंच पे छड़ा हबो बिल्कुल
Condition
छड़ा
applied.
साइलेंस रे बस कहले बेस चिलेब हां
हातिर नहीं
2 मिनट्स पूरा पिन ड्रॉप साइलेंट बस जो संग संग छड़ दवा भाई
भैया थोड़ा चुप करिए ना दीदी आप भी Oh, hello. Setik. Hi, Raki.
छड़ीवा लंच पे एटा लास्ट टाइम फोन सीज कि वापस कराला नेक्स्ट टाइम हेले अटेंडेंस भी कटबा फोन भी वापस मिलबनी
ଭୋକ ଲାଗିଲାଣି କି ବିଲେ?
हो पिले फर्स्ट कलम उठिकी चलो लाइन बनेगी।